Very cold, our high just 25.
I'm Tom Ackerman. We've been following a story all morning in South St. Louis. A firefighter trapped under layers of debris was trapped. We will have the latest after CBS News at the top of the hour.
Facing an $80 million budget deficit, what will the St. Louis County Council propose? I'm Maria Akita with the story.
St. Louis's Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital has created a simulated home so families of kids with complex medical needs can practice before they're sent out on their own. We'll have sports in 15 minutes. At the Tone, it's 6.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Pressure is growing on Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth in 2 separate cases. The first involving use of his personal phone to text classified information about an imminent U.S. strike in Yemen. Rhode Island's Democratic Senator Jack Reed.
I think the most compelling thing I've heard is a conclusion that he jeopardized the lives of pilots that were going into action by releasing critical data.
Sources tell CBS News a new Pentagon report comes to that same conclusion. Meantime, the admiral who commanded twin strikes on an alleged drug boat in the Caribbean is set to testify on Capitol Hill today. CBS's Nicole Killian.
The White House and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Bradley was authorized to carry out the attack. Some lawmakers have suggested the incident could rise to the level of a war crime. Hegseth denied issuing a reported order to kill the survivors and said he did not watch the second strike when it occurred.
House Republicans have subpoenaed Jack Smith, the special counsel who prosecuted President Trump.
The House Judiciary Committee wants Smith to explain why he charged the president for trying to overturn the 2020 election and for keeping classified documents. The Republicans plan to question Smith behind closed doors, but President Trump says they should do it in public.
I think Jack Smith is a sick man. There's something really wrong with him. I'd rather see him testify publicly because there's no way he can answer the question.
Smith had asked to testify in public. His lawyer says Smith looks forward to answering lawmakers' questions. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
CBS News confirms ICE operations are underway in Minneapolis, home to the nation's largest Somali American population, including City Councilman Jamal Osman.
Our community are resilient. They are hardworking people. They came here in this country, have nothing, and they made something out of it.
This week, President Trump called Somalis garbage. Dozens in the Twin Cities were implicated in a massive COVID fraud scheme. That botulism outbreak linked to contaminated infant formula is spreading and getting more babies sick. The FDA is reporting at least 39 cases in 19 states linked to ByHeart's product. The University of Texas, Dr. Stephen Abrams, says the bacteria produces a toxin that attacks infants' neurological systems.
They'll stop breathing and not be able to breathe enough and need to be hospitalized in intensive care.
New research shows owning a dog could be good for your mental health and your kids, too.
A study in Japan found children who own dogs had more microbial diversity in their gut microbiomes. Researchers say these changes may influence the brain, leading to more empathy. Social problems are significantly lower in children who own dogs.
CBS's Michael George. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
It is 6:03. Right now, we've got cloudy skies. It is 17 degrees. Feels like 14 downtown. Make that 9. Sorry, feels like 9. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. It's not going to warm up anytime soon. And Joe Lundberg will have the forecast for us at 6:10. A firefighter had to be rescued this morning in a vacant house fire. Chief Dennis Jankerson says the roof collapsed at the house in the 2600 block of Ohio, and the firefighter was under the debris. There was also hoarding at the home, which Jankerson said hindered efforts. Injuries are considered minor. No word on what caused the fire.
These are serious times, and it didn't come up overnight. It has gotten worse and worse and worse.
St. Louis County Councilwoman Shalonda Webb, who also is the chair of the Budget Committee. Next week, the council will submit their budget for 2026.
But there already seems to be a great divide between the council and county executive Dr. Stan Page. He submitted his budget to the council in October. He recommended putting an internet sales tax proposal on the April ballot and use RAM settlement money in 2026 to reduce the $80 million budget deficit.
While many taxing districts have raised property taxes, including school districts, fire districts, and many municipalities, St. Louis County has not raised its portion of the property tax bill for 40 years. And I do not support doing that now.
But Webb does not seem receptive to that proposal at all.
No plugging the budget with the NFL settlement. If that was the case, he could have taken the $100 million from the ARPA money or the $173 million from the CARES money.
Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
With the driverless taxi company Waymo announcing they'll be expanding to St. Louis, who should lead the charge on regulations?
St. Louis City Mayor Kara Spencer, while expressing her excitement for this emerging industry coming to St. Louis, she does say there needs to be regulations put in place. She tells KMOX she would like to see Missouri follow the lead of other states by creating regulations around the driverless cars.
There are states, as I mentioned, that regulate these, and the local jurisdictions aren't necessarily need to be involved.
Spencer says she would like the region to also adopt shared, consistent regulations if they go that route. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
In the news at 6:22, we will go in depth with our Los Angeles affiliate KNX Radio about how Waymo works in LA.
The board that owns the Dome, which is the regional sports authority, has voted to combine resources with Explore St. Louis. Chairman of the RSA, Reverend Earl Nance Jr., says they also need money.
And we need $150 million in order to renovate the Dome and keep it working safely.
The resolution passed unanimously. Explore St. Louis takes it up today. Then it will be up to the legislative body to approve it. Megan Lynch will go in depth with Nance on this issue this morning at 8:40.
A hospital for children with complex medical needs has found a unique way to help parents transition from a facility to home. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer.
Frank and Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital has created a simulated home where parents can practice and build confidence before they're on their own.
While the family's in the sim home, they are responsible. They can call for help, but you're dealing with feedings and med administration and responding to alarms and finding out how you're going to navigate the equipment and the environment with your child.
Dr. Nick Holtkamp tells KMOX parents are sent home with a go bag full of any supplies they need, plus a few restaurant and food delivery gift cards to make the first 48 hours at home easier. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Two agencies are working together to help Illinois residents avoid the TSA fee and get their real ID.
Without a real ID or passport, Illinois residents will be charged $45 per person per flight by the TSA starting on February 1st. In an effort to make it easier to obtain key documents like birth certificates and marriage licenses to get that ID, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius has launched a new partnership with the Cook County Clerk's Office.
Don't wait. Get your real ID today and avoid the expensive and unnecessary federal upcharge.
County Clerk Monica Gordon joined the secretary at his offices downtown.
Every clerk's office location downtown and in the suburbs will now have designated cashiers dedicated to serving individuals with real ID related requests.
Mallory Vorbroker, WBBM.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A new fiber network is launching in Alton that will eventually cover the city with high-speed internet. Right now, it's operating in 2 neighborhoods. Alton Works FiberNet, a $20 million network, was developed in part with state money, operated by i3 Broadband. Alton Works was created by law firm founder John Simmons as part of his efforts to revitalize Alton and make the city a draw for tech companies and foodies, according to the Business Journal.
We're going to check the roadways and the weather. It's really cold out there this morning, so bundle up on your way out. We've got the latest details on the way. It's 6:08.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-1313. 800-791-1313.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
We're off and running here, 6:10, second hour of Total Information AM. Let's see how the roads look now. Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still doing all right out there, Tom. I mean, there's a few more folks on the highways, but it's not enough to really make a difference. Northbound 55 looks good. In the construction zone down at 67 north of Bayless, it's still cruising along. 70 out in the Warrenton, Wright City area, still looking good. Southbound 61, no delays. 64 and 70 really from Wentzville. Across the Missouri River Bridge is good to go. You look good downtown across the Mississippi River Bridge. The bridges downtown for Illinois drivers, Poplar, Mutual veterans, everything's on the go, both sides of the river. Again, watch for any possible refreeze spots. We had warmer temperatures yesterday and pretty cold this morning, so certainly a couple icy patches are possible. But so far, I haven't heard of any reports of problems out there. A few stalls, obviously, with the weather this cold, but they've been getting them cleared to the shoulder pretty quickly. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, partly sunny today, but quite cold. High only 25. Partly cloudy, frigid tonight, down to 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, but not so cold in the afternoon. The high rebounds to 41. Saturday will be rather cold with intervals of clouds and sun and a high of 38. Sunday, cloudy and cold, perhaps a bit of snow or flurries, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, it's 17 degrees in downtown St. Louis. Feels like 9. The weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's 6:12. Some Missouri suspects in jail often wait several months or even more than a year to get a mental health evaluation to see if they are competent to stand trial.
Branson State Republican Brian Seitz has pre-filed a bill that would require any person arrested and subject to an evaluation have one within 45 days of their arrest.
I'm not looking to increase salaries of those in charge. If we need boots on the ground, then that's something we could look at as a state, and it may be something that we have to pay for because it would save money in the long run because we would have less people waiting.
The state is being sued by the American Civil Liberties Union of Missouri because of the long line of suspects awaiting a mental health evaluation. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
Experts say we're living in a K-shaped economy.
The most wealthy Americans are riding the escalator up, the top half of the K. The rest are riding the escalator down. KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz, professor in the Chaffetz School of Business at St. Louis University, says the rich have gotten richer and control even more of the economy.
The top 1% of Americans in 1900 controlled somewhere between 30 and 40% of the total wealth. These days, the top 1% of Americans control between 35 and 42% of total wealth.
Only 2.5% of our nation's wealth is held by the bottom 50% of Americans. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Harris Stowe State University is set to build a new home for its STEM programs, which are currently housed in the university's administration building. Dr. Freddie Wills, vice president of STEM Initiative, says construction is set to begin in January.
We are transitioning to move the College of STEM into its own space, its own academic building that would be complete with 10 classrooms and 18 labs for our students to study and learn in.
Aristo's new STEM building has an estimated value of $44 million. ICS Construction in St. Louis has been awarded the contract to build the new STEM center.
Governor Pritzker has unveiled the statewide plans to celebrate America's 250th birthday next year. He says they will highlight the role Illinois has played in the story of our nation.
The America 250 celebration in Illinois will tell that story through programming and events and education in every corner of this state. It will be an opportunity to reflect on the past 250 years, to educate one another and to tell the stories of the people who made Illinois the best state in the country and America the greatest country in the world.
Some of the anniversary plans include a 250th commemorative passport, pocket-sized copies of the Declaration of Independence, a youth art contest, and a new Illinois America 250 logo.
These are busy times for KMOX Radio, no doubt about that. We're the home of the Cardinals, and the winter meetings start next week. Katie Wu has been a great friend to the radio station through the years, 5 years covering the Cardinals for The Athletic. She announced yesterday she is leaving for Los Angeles. She is the new Dodgers writer for The Athletic, but she joined the Gas House gang to talk about the Cardinals' offseason priority list. She actually ranks Lars Nootbaar above Brendan Donovan as the most likely Cardinal to be traded. Why did she say that?
So unless the Cardinals are blown away by Brendan Donovan and the offers, and they might, over 15 teams are in on Donovan, they'll hold on to him. That means you pivot to Nootbaar, and the reason why I have him as the highest percentage of being traded is because he still has a ton of value. Rival teams love his analytics. Rival teams are not really all that concerned that he might miss a couple of weeks, maybe 4 most to start the season. He has such a high upside still, and he's going to cost less than Donovan. So that, to me, are all those things that the Cardinals will be shopping. The things that I can say for absolutes, they do absolutely want to trade Nolan Arenado. That is priority number 1. There will just be things impacting that timing. And they do want to move 1, if not 2, of their left-handed hitters to kind of alleviate that roster logjam we've talked about for seasons now.
Baseball's winter meetings begin on Sunday. Before that, 2 massive games on KMOX. We will have the SEC championship on Saturday afternoon at 3. It's Georgia and Alabama. And then at 7, the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis will also be on KMOX. Ohio State, number 1 team in the country, against number 2 Indiana. We have the NFL tonight, Dallas at Detroit, 2 teams pushing hard for a playoff spot in the NFC. We had college basketball last night. It was SLU taking on St. Bonaventure. Nelson, right side of the floor for SLU. Throws right side for Kira Brown. Brown puts it on the deck. She's beyond 3. She throws it over to Nelson. Attacks right baseline. Layup good on a one-on-one battle with Pettinelli. She gets fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line. Lex Nelson's having a night. Lex Nelson for the SLU Billikens with a big night, and the Billikens won their first A-10 game, the opener against St. Bonaventure. Final score was 76-70. For Nelson, she was able to deliver by driving to the basket, playing a tough physical game, scored 17 points. Her coach, Rebecca Tillett, says she loves it.
She absolutely does. You know, we were saying to the vets before the game, right? We play our freshmen so many minutes, and there's so much they have to learn, and they're learning really, really fast. Also, the vets know what it takes in conference, right? You know, the A-10 is a really strong conference. Each game is going to be a fight, and as I'm sure if we look at the league scores from tonight, there were lots of close ones. So I think the vets teaching us what it's going to be like, and Lex does that every single day.
Jada Dennis led the way for the Billikens with 24 points. The Blues play tonight in Boston. Memories of winning the Stanley Cup back in 2019. It's a different team, different time now. The Blues are 2 games under 500, really fighting it. 6 o'clock face-off tonight in Boston. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and Billikens. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, You can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Christmas has arrived at Chesterfield Valley Nursery with hundreds of Christmas trees and our winter greens. Visit our garden center for your live holiday decor, from garland to poinsettias to custom live wreaths made right here at Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Open to the public, everyone is welcome. Stop by 16825 North Outer 40 Road in Chesterfield, directly past the popular entertainment district. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com.
This is Ron Kraszewski, Chairman and CEO of Stiefel. As the year comes to a close, I want to thank our clients, colleagues, and communities for your trust and support. We're especially proud of the Stiefel U.S. ski team. Their drive, resilience, and pursuit of their goals this winter reminds us what's possible when we stay committed. From all of us at Stiefel, we wish you and your family a joyful holiday season and a new year filled with health, happiness, and success. Stiefel, where success meets success.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest on your ride in.
Well, it's a nice day for a drive-in, Debbie, aside from the really cold temperatures. Hopefully your heater or heated seats are working well. We're getting a little busier out there. This traffic reports service of the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company, but all in all, not bad. There's a few spots on 55 where we're seeing slow traffic just north of Highway A. The right lane's Butler Hill up through Madison. All lanes from north of Bayless up to River to Pear just kind of slow in those stretches. Certainly nowhere near a jam. North 270 from 55 headed up through 44. Both directions at Ladue look good. A little volume slowing you down on southbound 61 south of P down towards Wentzville Parkway. Again, it's not a jam. It's a little busier running on that stretch. Downtown, we still look okay. Westbound across the Poplar Musel Veterans Bridges, Illinois interstates, looking good. Again, just watch for possible icy patches with the warmer temperatures we had yesterday and the real cold temperatures we're experiencing now. At Penn Mutual, we believe that life insurance is a central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it just looks cold out there. It's frozen. And Joe Lundberg says we're only going to get up to 25 today. Partly cloudy, bitterly cold tonight, low 13. Tomorrow we warm up a little bit with a high of 41 degrees. It's 17 right now. Feels like 9 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:22. Waymo, the driverless taxi service, has announced they're expanding their operations to St. Louis. Sean Malone spoke with Brian Belansky with our Los Angeles affiliate KNX to discuss this growing business model.
I think the initial reaction was pretty mixed. I mean, the idea of being on the streets with cars that don't have humans holding onto the steering wheel is scary to a lot of people. These cars are pretty obvious when you see them on the roads. They've got these big, almost look like a rooftop carrier, like a ski rack with a dish on top that spins around so that it looks at that's called LiDAR. That's the system of radar they use to determine whether you're going to run someone over. And so they're really obvious to see them. But in the time since that, we really haven't had very many on-the-road problems, or anything big anyway. So I think people have kind of learned how to that they're there, and maybe you're a little more cautious when you're around them, but I have not found any reason to do that.
Do you see any issues when there's unique road conditions where the Waymos just don't know what to do? There's the video that went viral out of Los Angeles, actually, where a Waymo drove right past police officers trying to arrest someone and get them out of the vehicle at gunpoint.
Yeah, that the problems like that, I think, are, when you run into a certain circumstance like that, which is so unusual, I think that might be something that the computers just haven't been trained on because they haven't approached that kind of a situation. But most even regular traffic problems, like, maybe a little road crew here doing work or a pothole crew, they seem to be able to manage that pretty much okay. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know that regular Los Angelinos wouldn't just drive past the scene with police officers and guns drawn. I think they'd just try to get about their day. So.
I have heard there are some issues with these Waymos when they're parked, and in particular for some of the neighbors around where they're parked and charging.
The biggest controversy to date is that there's a charging facility. Essentially, Waymo bought a parking lot in Santa Monica and installed all of their chargers, and it's kind of like a hub where the Waymos go back when they're not being used or when they need to be charged. And when the cars are in that parking lot being charged, they're loud, and they have flashing lights, so they make clicking noises and a bunch of other stuff. And the neighbors are not at all happy with that situation, because these cars a lot of times are charging in the middle of the night, because that's when they're least, the least needed by the people who want to take a Waymo. And so that's a big thing that they're trying to deal with. The city gave them a permit to operate there, and Waymo's like, you've already given us permission to do this. We're not going to change. We really can't change, don't want to change. And then the city's like, well, no, now we're going to change your permit that you can't operate during certain hours. And Waymo's pushing back pretty strongly on that. So that's the biggest really controversy that we've come up with since they started doing their thing here, I guess probably about a year and a half ago or so.
Have skeptics turned into believers in Los Angeles? Have you seen people who have initially had the mindset of no way, I could never trust something like this, start to warm up and come around to it?
I think there's three types of people. There's the skeptics who will never be real happy about this type of situation. There's the people who may have been skeptic and then now have kind of used it a couple of times and really like it. And then there's acceptance. I see them on the roads almost every day back and forth to work, and I see them there. I've never had a problem with them, so I've kind of accepted them as part of the road, what we see on our roads in Los Angeles. I will tell you, though, there is one segment of the population that is really high on the Waymos, and those are female customers. We hear time and time again that females aren't always comfortable getting into a rideshare with a male driver who they don't know. And because there's no driver in a Waymo, that lends to the comfort level for female passengers. And so that is one thing that we do here, that a lot of women enjoy the Waymos because they don't have to worry about creepy guys behind the wheel.
Anything else I didn't ask you about that you think would be good for a city such as St. Louis that Waymo is coming to?
I will say I'm interested. We have not seen any real data, and it might be out there, but it's not been shared really widely on, they always have the data on, accidents per 1,000 people or whatever the case, or per 1,000 miles of driving for human-driven cars. I want to start seeing the data on the Waymos and how many incidents they've run into, no pun intended, over the course of 100,000 miles, and compare the two. And I'm curious to think that maybe a Waymo that doesn't have, a driver who's checking their phone or looking at their Facebook or answering a message from, their family on what are you bringing home for dinner. Waymos there is no distracted driving with a Waymo. So I'm almost wondering if they're in the long run might even be safer than a human driven car. I don't know, but I suspect that may be where the world could be going with this.
It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I wonder if I can tell a Waymo to take me to 6726 Chippewa. That, of course, is the location everybody knows, and we'll teach the Waymo. Is Ted Drew's Frozen Custard It is the best. It is a St. Louis tradition. And even in frigid temps like this, there's nothing better than having a treat at Ted Drew's or shopping for a Christmas tree at Ted Drew's. That's right. You probably should get on that if you haven't already, because they will run out. Ted Drew's Christmas tree lot has lush holiday greenery and decor as well. This is all available while supplies last, so don't wait. Stop by for the best selection of Christmas trees at Ted Drew's. Top quality pine and fir trees. Customer favorites like the Fraser fir, that's what we get. The Scotch pine, all hand selected for freshness and fullness. And yes, Ted Drew's is known for rich, creamy frozen custard, made fresh daily. Ted Drew's is the place where quality ingredients meet exceptional service. You can find them at 6726 Chippewa. By the way, they have a great gift shop there where you can get all kinds of goodies for the holidays. Ted Drew's Frozen Custard, where tradition tastes great and the holidays feel right at home.
Barnes Jewish Hospital and WashU Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It is 6:30 and it's a cold start to the morning. 17 degrees in downtown St. Louis, feels like 9. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, there's a few slowdowns out there, but all in all, it's not bad as you begin your drive in this morning. Northbound 55, a little heavy at 67. The right lanes, Butler Hill, Mattis are slow. Bayless up to about Loughborough is kind of busy right now. North 270, seeing some volume at a little slower pace up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester. South 270 into the work zone at Ladue looks okay. And there's more volume on southbound 61, starting to slow down about midway between W and Highway P, midway down to Wentzville Parkway. It opens up before you get to the Parkway, and then once you hit 64 or 70, you're good to go out of Wentzville across the Missouri River Bridges downtown, headed for the Poplar or Mutual Veterans Bridges. Illinois drivers still have a great run going there so far. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The forecast for today, it's not going to get much warmer than it is now. It'll feel a little better with some partly sunny skies, but a high today of just 25 degrees, 13 overnight. Then warming up to 41 for tomorrow with more sun than clouds. It's 17 degrees right now.
A firefighter had to be rescued when the roof collapsed during a vacant house fire in South St. Louis. The fire chief says he was able to radio for help. Injuries are considered minor. This happened in the 2600 block of Ohio. Dennis Jankerson says firefighters struggled because of hoarding conditions at the house.
The St. Louis Regional Bomb and Arson Unit has assumed the lead in the investigation into Friday's major warehouse fire in downtown St. Louis. A search has been underway for one person who was last reported inside of the affected buildings and is currently unaccounted for. Detectives are working closely with the ATF to determine the cause and origin of the fire. Detectives believe there were multiple warming fires inside the vacant warehouse.
St. Louis County is facing approximately an $80 million shortfall. As to where and how that can be made up waits to be seen.
But the St. Louis County Council appears to be gearing up for a fight with County Executive Dr. Sam Page. Councilman Mark Harder
heard from some folks in the media that the administration is telling the media that if this administration doesn't like the cuts that we are going to recommend next week, that somehow the county executive will veto the bills. Well, if you look at your charter, that's not possible.
Harder says whatever the council comes up with next week will be the budget for 2026. There seems to be little room for negotiations. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Senator Josh Hawley announced in a post on X, the Army Corps of Engineers will commit more funds to Coldwater Creek. He says they will commit an additional $40.5 million to clean up the irradiated creek. KMOX reached out to Hawley asking if he could elaborate further on how those funds will translate to a cleanup effort, and we have not heard back.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your Money Minute next.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
The holidays come and go, but Cardinals baseball lasts all season long. This year, give the gift of all-inclusive tickets, featuring a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views at Busch Stadium. Enjoy great food, good times, and every moment of the action. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Coca-Cola Scoreboard Patio, and more. Make your holidays brighter with all-inclusive tickets, on sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
It is 6:35. We'll check traffic and weather coming your way in 5 minutes. But first, let's get you your money report. It's sponsored for you by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Salesforce has delivered an outlook for revenue in the current period that topped analyst estimates. It suggests the software company is persuading customers to buy its AI tools. One of those tools is Agentforce, which has inked more than 9,500 paid deals since launching last year. Meta Platforms is facing a full-scale antitrust investigation from the European Union. It could come as early as this week. The probe centers on its AI features in WhatsApp and how they may be harming the competition. It's the latest probe into big tech's dominance in Europe. And ahead of the open on Wall Street, futures right now, they're slightly higher. Companies are increasingly finding that people are spending on products or services that'll save them time and take on mundane tasks. The share of Americans that say they would rather have more time than more money has shot up by 4 percentage points. Companies like GE are finding success with products that offer convenience and time-saving features. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Life is better together. At Fairwinds River's Edge, dynamic activity calendars, excellent meal options, and an abundance of services come together to create a strong sense of community where meaningful connections are cultivated. Here, you can trust that there will always be something fun and social to do. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. To see what's happening this month, visit us on Facebook or online, fairwindsriversedge.com.
Show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Cyber Monday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Cyber Monday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN
My name is Whitney Allen. I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Championship Saturday is here, and KMOX is bringing the hits. At 2:30, the SEC Championship takes center stage with a heavyweight rematch. The Georgia Bulldogs and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Two giants, one crown. And we're not stopping there. Right after, it's the Big Ten Championship. The Indiana Hoosiers looking to shock the world against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Championship Saturday on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
6:40, time for us to check in with Roger Brand. He's got the latest on your ride-in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not bad out there so far, Debbie. Of course, it's a little busier, but not terrible, obviously. This traffic reports a service of S&L Coins. If you're coming in on Highway 55 northbound, there's a little busy stretch past Highway A. There's slow traffic from Bayless pretty much all the way up through Holly Hills, just busy the whole way through there into the city. Northbound 270, Sappington to Gravois is a little slow. Doherty Ferry, not quite all the way up to Manchester, slow, and a little slow down approaching 64 after that. Southbound 61 right at Highway W, bogs down. It opens up midway down to Highway P, and then midway between P and Wensville Parkway, there's a couple of slowdowns, not jams, headed down to 64. Eastbound Highway 70, a little slow right around Lake St. Louis Boulevard, but after that, it's a good run across the Blanchette Bridge for you. In downtown, we're in great shape. Westbound, no delays across the Poplar or Musial Veterans Bridge. There's a little volume on Route 3, north of Judith up to Monsanto at a couple of spots, but again, it's not jammed. Next updated 6:50 for the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
It is now 6:41. Time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. It looks like we will have a bit of a warm-up, at least, just a little one tomorrow.
A little bump of the road. I think it's a little bit bigger warm-up middle of next week, where days should get into the 40s, and maybe we'll have one day later next week where it could actually hit 50, but that's not the next 5 days for sure. Partly sunny, bitter cold day today. It's down in the upper teens right now in a lot of places, only gets to 25. Frigid tonight, partly cloudy skies or low 13. Tomorrow, a little brighter, a little more sun than clouds, and not quite so cold. We warm to 41. It's a little cloudier Saturday, but we stay dry with a high of 38. And a little system tries to go through the area Sunday with clouds and perhaps a bit of snow or flurries, the high 36. A cold day Monday with some sunshine, the high 32. Then I do think the cold eases Tuesday and Wednesday. Down to 18 at St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant, partly cloudy, 21 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thank you, Joe. The botulism outbreak tied to contaminated infant formula is spreading.
The FDA now reports at least 39 cases in 19 states. All the babies are between 2 weeks and 9 months old and were fed ByHeart formula since August. Dr. Stephen Abrams at the University of Texas says botulism attacks babies' neurological systems, making them weak and constipated. In severe cases,
they'll stop breathing and not be able to breathe enough and need to be hospitalized in intensive care.
The FDA says some ByHeart products are still on store shelves despite the recall. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A Grammy-winning soul guitarist has died.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Steve Cropper played a mean Fender Telecaster lick
On his band Booker T and the MG's 1962 hit, Green Onions, he worked with musicians like B.B. King and Otis Redding.
I'm sitting on the dock of the bay.
Cropper got a shout-out from Sam Moore on this 1966 single. His wife says Steve Cropper died in Nashville. He was 84. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
A California doctor will spend some time in prison for his role in the death of actor Matthew Perry.
Dr. Salvador Plasencia was sentenced to 30 months in prison.
Plasencia was charged with 4 federal counts for providing the ketamine.
Not only that, says legal analyst Lori Levinson,
he referred to Perry as a moron, and he almost gleefully provided the ketamine to him when there was no medical justification for doing so.
The 4 others charged in the case are set to be sentenced in the coming months. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Long-term exposure to air pollution, including vehicle exhaust, industrial emissions, and wildfire smoke, can lead to severe heart disease. We get details from Jennifer Kuiper.
Being presented at the Radiological Society of North America gathering in Chicago is a study of more than 11,000 adults over a 10-year period and the relationship between air pollution and the amount of coronary artery disease, or plaque, that people had in their heart. Cardiac radiologist Kate Hanneman with the University of Toronto.
What we found was that patients who had been exposed to more air pollution had more coronary artery disease or more plaque in their hearts.
In women, long-term exposure to fine particulate matter was linked to more severe narrowing of the arteries, and in men, higher plaque burden. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News, Chicago.
What do you think was going on in the mind of Pope Leo in the days and moments before he was elected pontiff last May? The Chicago native is now openly talking about it. We'll get more from Fred Bottomer, who has that story coming your way after sports. It is 6:45.
Get ready for Thursday Night Football as the Cowboys take on the Lions.
St. Ben Cancer Center game time, 6:30. St. Ben Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Cowboys, the Lions, on 104.1 FM KMOX. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Dr. Martin Luther King.
There for every headline.
This is KMOX, the news voice of St. Louis. Martin Luther King, father of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, was killed by an assassin's bullet tonight in Memphis, Tennessee.
The assassination of Dr. King tonight demonstrates to what depth some people in this great nation of ours have fallen.
Dr. Martin Luther King was my friend, as he was to hundreds of clergymen and thousands of church leaders in this city who heard him gladly when we brought him here. I express on behalf of all his friends here our deepest sympathy.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Achieve more with competitive rates on savings and lending. Visit togethercu.org.
All right, here's what's going on. Busy times at KMOX for sure. Starting with tonight, we have the NFL, Dallas at Detroit. Really good matchup there. We are also packing Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne's bags for the winter meetings. They start on Sunday as the Cardinals look to make additional moves to bolster 2026, but with an eye on 27, 28, 29, the prospects that they are looking to acquire are to build for those years and never go back to being what they've been over the last decade, which is a team kind of in the middle. They want to be back to being a giant organization filled with talented players, lots of depth, lots of great pitching. That's the plan that Chaim Bloom has put together. We will follow every step of the way. Only KMOX can do this. Winter meetings coverage, which we have done each and every year. Claibs and Matt will be in Orlando, Florida. Also this weekend, we have the college football conference championship games Saturday back-to-back. We'll start with Georgia and Alabama. They kick off at 3 o'clock, and then a 7 o'clock kick in the Big Ten championship. Number 1, Ohio State, and number 2, Indiana. We also have college basketball. SLU will play Central Michigan on Sunday at 2 o'clock. Last night, the SLU women beat St. Bonaventure 76-70 to win their Atlantic 10 opener. The Blues play tonight in Boston. It's a 6 o'clock face-off for them. And I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals and the Billikens, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation, Attilas Park is now open through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Attilas Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington U Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. Get more info at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Before we get to traffic, one other note. We're not carrying the game, but it's certainly worth talking about. Saturday at noon, I want to make sure everybody is aware of this. St. Louis University men's soccer is in the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament. This is rarefied air right now. The Billikens are taking on Ackerman on the road Saturday at noon Central Time, and a win will put them in the College Cup, the Final Four of college soccer. So certainly we wish them well. Kevin Kalish's team has had a dream season as they've knocked off Kentucky, Indiana, and Bryant on their way to this Akron game. They will be leaving shortly. They might have already, and I know some Billiken fans are on their way to Ohio to catch that game on Saturday.
Well, if you're on the road, whether you're heading to Ohio or you're heading to work, it's 6:50 and time to check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's not bad out there so far this morning, Debbie. This traffic report's a service of Ambassadors of Harmony. If you're on northbound 55, a little slow at 67. There's some slow stuff, Bayless up to River to Pear and right around Loughborough, Holly Hills. It's just a little off the pace at that point. North 270, a slowdown. At Tesson Ferry, there's some slow traffic. North of Big Bend, most of the way up to Manchester, Clayton Road up through 64, just some volume in several spots on the southbound 61 run. It's a little slow at Highway P, and then Wentzville Parkway on to 64 to about Lake St. Louis Boulevard. After that, you're home free. Eastbound Highway 70 from Highway A almost all the way into Bryan Road. Again, just slower traffic in general running through there. Downtown, we still look good westbound, though, across those popular and musical veterans bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
See the 5-time International Chorus Champions, Ambassadors of Harmony, with the St. Louis Children's Choir and Vocal Spectrum. 4 performances only, December 12th, 13th, and 14th. Book at aoh.org or call 314-516-4949.
Absolutely frigid out there. Joe Lundberg says a high of only 25 tonight, low 13 tomorrow. A little warmer, a high of 41 degrees with more sun than clouds. Currently it's 17, feels like 9 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:52. We reported that the driverless taxi company Waymo is in St. Louis getting ready to launch. KMOX asked the mayor about issues Santa Monica is having. Neighbors complaining about the lights and sounds these Waymos let off while parked and charging.
To be honest, I haven't really dove into those concerns, but making sure that we're protecting the community from noise and light and things of that nature will certainly be an important piece of making sure that they're serving our community well.
Mayor Kara Spencer did say she would like to see regulations put in place, preferably at the state or regional level.
Pope Leo reflects on his conclave moment. Here's KMOX religion editor Fred Bodemer.
For the first time, Pope Leo has shared what was going through his mind when he realized there was a strong possibility he could be the next pontiff.
I said to a reporter the day before I was elected, she caught me on the street. I was going to lunch across the street at the Augustinians, and she said, well, what do you think? You've become one of the candidates. And I simply said, everything is in the hands of God. And I believe that profoundly.
Pope Leo talking with reporters on the papal plane, flying back to the Vatican following his first official journey to Turkey and Lebanon.
What was it like? I resigned myself to the fact when I saw how things were going, that I said, this could be a reality. I took a deep breath. I said, here we go, Lord. You're in charge, and you lead the way.
Pope Leo says the funny thing is, a year before the vote, he was thinking about retirement. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Probably every person in your household will have a different answer to this question. What temperature should your thermostat be on? We asked the professionals at Jerry Kelly. Service manager Mark Porter says it's up to you. Just keep it consistent.
Your furnace should operate at whatever temperature you set it to. So it's just based on your own comfort inside your own home. I've seen a lot of people stick anywhere between 70, 72. Me at my house, we like it a little bit cooler, so we keep it a little bit lower, but totally up to you.
What do you keep it at?
We keep our house at like 68.
Researchers at St. Louis University are working with the smallest of insects.
They're called tree hoppers, and they spend their entire lives on one single plant. Scientists found that warmer developmental temperatures reduced juvenile survival but increased adult fertility. Published in Ecology Letters, they surmise that even relatively small fertility boosts helped offset survival losses, potentially preventing population declines under moderate, warmer climate change. The National Science Foundation funded the study. Brad Choate, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today, we want to highlight Lee Smith, the Hall of Famer. Happy birthday to the big guy. He is 68 today, 4-time saves leader in Major League Baseball, 3-time Rural AIDS Relief Man Awards, 7-time All-Star. He was tremendous and a National Baseball Hall of Famer and very well deserved. We always love hearing from him. Lee Smith is 68.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, Forward and Back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Dan Grubb and the father-daughter duo of Ron Kohlbrecker and Sarah Smith, both celebrating today. Monica Asselin, Dennis Jenkins, Chris Ornelas, Donna Hopkins, Marilou Bloom. Happy 40th to John Shallert from the Spring family. Happy birthday to Zizi and Sansta from your St. Louis family. Bella Odolini and Jennifer Florida. Happy birthday.
This is the best birthday ever.
Neil Forever performs Neil Diamond live in concert at the Factory in Chesterfield on Friday, January 9th.
It's fantastic.
Friday, January 9th, Neil Forever performing all the hits of Neil Diamond at the Factory.
He is a great performer. He's amazing. Sounds just like Neil.
Get on board. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians, to secure our nation's borders, and to cut wasteful spending. Visit onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Looking for a beautiful, all-inclusive place for your loved one? Happy holidays from Pine Valley Assisted Living. Secure a room between now and January 31st and take advantage of our move-in special. Enjoy affordable rates with absolutely no hidden fees. Experience the beautiful life at Pine Valley. Visit rspseniorliving.com today.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, sounds like we got a minor crash 30 at Little Brennan right now, Tom. Just a little bit of a slowdown. There really doesn't look bad. There's just a little bit of a slowdown on northbound 55 at 67. It's bogged down, though, from Bayless all the way up through Virginia as you get into the city on northbound 55. After that, northbound 270 Doherty Ferry to Manchester, Clayton Road up through Ladue. That's certainly busy, slower pace through there. None of these are jams, though. Southbound 61's doing better. I'd call it south of Wentzville Parkway now onto 64, and it opens up before you get to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Eastbound 70, Lake St. Louis through Bryan Road is just a little heavy. I see a little slowdown westbound 70 at Bryan Road as well. Downtown, we're still good to go. Westbound 55, 70, and 64 is still no delays across the Poplar or Musial Veterans Bridges for you. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, December 4th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Maria Aquino with the latest on the St. Louis County budget proposal.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Quite cold today with a mix of sun and clouds. Our high just 25.
The St. Louis Regional Sports Authority wants to join forces with Explore St. Louis. We'll tell you more about the proposed merger.
I'm Tom Ackerman. A firefighter is trapped for at least 12 minutes when the roof of a vacant house crumbles. Here, the fire chief described the scene after CBS News.
The latest from CBS News is on the way with the CBS World News Roundup.
And we will take a look at sports at 7:15. Katie Woo in her final appearance talking about the Cardinals. She's going to go cover the Dodgers, but she uncovers what the Cards might do at the winter meeting.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. New trouble for Defense Secretary Hegseth over posts of an imminent U.S. airstrike overseas. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata has details from Washington.
Sources tell CBS News a new Pentagon Inspector General's report found he put U.S. service members at risk by sharing sensitive details of an active bombing mission in Yemen in March in a Signal group chat with other top officials, which mistakenly included a journalist. Hegseth denied wrongdoing when the story broke this past spring.
The Pentagon says the report is a total exoneration of the defense secretary. The naval admiral who ordered a second strike on a suspected drug boat in the Caribbean testifies on Capitol Hill today. Hegseth denies giving the order to wipe out survivors of the first hit. An ICE operation is targeting Somali immigrants in Minneapolis after President Trump referred to them this week as garbage. He was reacting to dozens who were implicated in a massive COVID fraud scheme. City Councilman Jamal Osman moved from Somalia to the Twin Cities when he was 14.
My community is upset. Yes, people commit crimes, but the entire community should not be blamed based on what some individuals did.
The Gates Foundation warning the number of child deaths around the world will rise this year for the first time in decades. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
The report projects 4.8 million children under the age of 5 will die this year, 243,000 more than in 2024. Child deaths are rising mostly in African countries. Foundation chairman and billionaire Bill Gates blames a 27% decrease in foreign aid from wealthy countries. He tells Politico President Trump's cutting of USAID was a gigantic mistake.
We're decreasing the money, and it's not surprising that that's resulting in more deaths.
The doctor who supplied actor Matthew Perry with the ketamine that killed the Friends star has been sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. Correspondent Carter Evans from L.A.
We did hear from the defendant in court, Dr. Placentia. He said he failed Mr. Perry. He failed his family. There are no excuses. He must accept full responsibility. He should have protected him. He said it was my oath. And then he looked straight at Matthew Perry's mother and he said, I am just so sorry.
A new study being presented today at the Radiological Society of North America in Chicago ties long-term exposure to air pollution to advanced heart disease. Cardiac radiologist Dr. Kate Hanneman.
From a public health policy, this research is really important to guide the conversation in terms of needing national and global guidelines to decrease exposure across the board for everyone.
Dow futures are up 44, Nas futures ahead 8. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie. The best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary. While supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
It is 7:04. It is windy out there. I'm watching the state of Missouri flag whipping in the breeze. It is currently 17 degrees. It feels like 9 in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A firefighter is hurt in an early morning house fire when the roof collapsed. Chief Dennis Jankerson describes the scene to our partners at Fox 2.
There was so much snow on the roof, it was almost what I'm going to call a silent collapse. It lowered onto him, pinned him into the room, into the floor, separated him from his partner because they always work in pairs, pinned his arms to his chest, flat on his back. He remained calm, called a mayday.
Jankerson says that firefighter was under layers of rubble for at least 12 minutes, but has only minor injuries. In fact, he was treated on the scene and was not taken to the hospital. This was in the 2600 block of a vacant house on Ohio.
Next week, the St. Louis County Council will submit their budget for 2026. The county's already facing an $80 million deficit. So the question is where that money will come from and where things might be cut.
The council seems to be ready for a fight with County Executive Dr. Sam Page. This is what he said at Tuesday night's council meeting.
In my proposed budget to the council back in October, I suggested the council vote to put an internet sales tax proposal on the April ballot. The tax is estimated to bring in between $45 and $75 million in new revenue each year.
Page says by putting the proposal on the ballot lets the voters decide what level of services they want moving forward. And Page adds, in the meantime, the county can use the RAM settlement funds in 2026 to reduce the deficit. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb is a budget committee chair.
To the community and to my council people, please don't get caught up in a political football and get distracted or with the county executive and his communication team is trying to distract you with.
The council held a public hearing Tuesday night as required on the budget, but following the regular meeting, no one attended. Maria Aquino, KMOX News.
The driverless car company Waymo is coming to St. Louis and has been operating in LA for over a year. What kind of issues do they see?
I posed that question to Brian Belansky, editor at our affiliate KNX Radio in Los Angeles. He tells me the most consistent problems aren't when the vehicle is in drive, rather when they're parked and charging overnight.
They're loud, they flicker, they click. They make some noises. They have lights that, like when they're charging, there's a particular light that spins around to show that they're charging.
On the road, he says issues only tend to arise when they come across unusual events, such as an accident. He says otherwise, the only other issue is for less than patient drivers who get stuck behind the Waymos because they don't speed and follow the rules of the road. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Missouri bill has been pre-filed that would require the state to give a mental health evaluation within 45 days to anyone in jail awaiting one to determine if they're competent to stand trial. State Representative Brian Seitz, a Branson Republican, says Missouri has hundreds of people in jail who have been waiting for months or even a year to get an evaluation.
It's not fair to the person incarcerated, nor is it fair to those holding that individual. They're not necessarily qualified to see to their mental health needs.
Seitz says his bill does not currently include specific consequences for the Missouri Department of Health if it fails to meet this proposed requirement.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. TSA will now charge a $45 penalty for not having a real ID. That starts February 1st. However, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius is taking action to help Illinois residents get the ID and avoid fees.
We've extended the lease on our first in the nation Real ID Supercenter through the end of 2026 to provide faster, more convenient service for the sole purpose of helping folks get their Real IDs. And of course, we're continuing to offer Real ID services at DMVs throughout the entire state.
It is now 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather for you next. It is a cold, cold morning. Will it warm up? We'll have some answers. It is 7:08, and this is Total Information AM.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Bet the game day action right from your phone. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app now. Use code RADIOMO. Place your first bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Open to new users in Missouri who are 21 or older. First wager after registration must qualify and win. And bonus bets expire 30 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promotions or the promotions tab on the app for full terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Christmas has arrived at Chesterfield Valley Nursery with hundreds of Christmas trees and our winter greens. Visit our garden center for your live holiday decor, from garland to poinsettias to custom live wreaths made right here at Chesterfield Valley Nursery. Open to the public, everyone is welcome. Stop by 16825 North Outer 40 Road in Chesterfield, directly past the popular entertainment district. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com.
Experience a musical kaleidoscope as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Shostakovich's 15th, Rebellion and Reckoning, an epic symphonic memoir. Cellist Jan Soltany joins to make his St. Louis debut, using his bow to tell the story of Haydn's elegant cello concerto. December 5th and 6th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got signal problems, Tom, out in Lake St. Louis, Highway N at Hawk Ridge Trail. Signals are on red flash, so backed up traffic on Highway N headed into that area. That's the reason why. If you're getting onto the highways out that way, well, we had an incident. Maybe this was a traffic stop. I don't know, but they had the right lane partially blocked. Eastbound 70 midway from David Hokel to Wentzville Parkway. Looks like they've cleared, but there's still a little bit of a backup there. Once you get past that point, though, eastbound 70 is good to go. Southbound 61, you're on the brakes at Wentzville Parkway. Down to 64 after that. Eastbound 64 is a little busy between Lake St. Louis Boulevard and 364. Northbound 270, you got slow traffic north of Big Bend up to Manchester, and sort of in spots all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55, just a little busy. Bayless up to River to Pear. And downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musewell Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Despite some sunshine today, it is going to be very cold. Our high just 25. Partly cloudy and bitterly cold tonight, down to 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, warming up to 41 in the afternoon. Rather cold Saturday with clouds and some sunshine, high 38. Sunday, cloudy and cold, a chance for some snow or flurries, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Currently cloudy, windy, 17 degrees. With all that wind, it feels like it's 9 in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. A handful of shoppers have minor injuries after a car crashed into an Ulta store in South County. Police say the driver's foot slipped off the brake. The driver was not hurt. It shattered the glass in front of the store.
The board that owns the Dome, which is the regional sports authority, has voted to combine resources with Explore St. Louis. Chairman of the RSA, Reverend Earl Nance Jr., says they also need money.
And we need $150 million in order to renovate the Dome and keep it working safely.
The resolution passed unanimously. Explore St. Louis takes it up today. Then it'll be up to the legislative body to approve it. Megan Lynch will go in depth with Nance on this morning at 8:40.
St. Louis's Rankin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital has created a simulated home so families of kids with complex medical needs can practice before they're sent out on their own.
It's a way for families to figure out how they'll navigate special equipment, medication schedules, and other care needs while still having a safety net. Dr. Nick Holkamp is Chief Healthcare Transformation Officer for Rankin Jordan.
Well, you can imagine that for the time they've been in the hospital, they've had doctors, nurses, respiratory therapists, social workers, care coordinators, pharmacists, a whole team of folks to help them take care of their child. But then when it's time to go home, it's all on the parents. So it can be very stressful anticipating what it's going to be like living with the child at home.
Holkamp says families typically stay a day and a night in the sim home. He says eventually they hope to expand the model. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Harris-Stowe State University has been awarded a $44 million contract to build a new home for its STEM programs. ICS Construction of St. Louis awarded the bid. Dr. Freddie Wills is Vice President of STEM Initiatives at Harris-Stowe. He tells MissouriNet the project will create jobs in addition to improving student education.
With Harris-Stowe being an HBCU, we're at 40% minority subcontractor participation on this construction project, which would definitely put more dollars in the pockets of people from our own community.
The university's STEM programs are currently housed in Harris-Stowe's administration building. Construction is scheduled to begin in January, estimated completion in late summer 2027.
The Hudson stores at St. Louis Lambert International Airport will stay for at least another 5 years. Airport commissioners yesterday recommended extending the contract to the Hudson Group rather than do a competitive bidding process. The reason cited was the terminal consolidation project that will include demolishing some current retail spaces and take a number of years to complete. The contract extensions must be approved by the Board of Aldermen and Fiscal Board. Or maybe it's because, Hudson's got good snacks and good magazines.
I always grab a Vanity Fair before I get on the plane.
They always have some good magazines, maybe a bottle of water. Yesterday, we offered an ice-cold Budweiser to Katie Wu. Although she was not in studio with us, she was on the phone. She is moving on to Los Angeles to cover the Dodgers. Well, Katie, we were thinking of a way to toast you, and you can't see this, but I thought the proper way would be, here you go, big guy, grab one of these.
Budweiser?
I've got ice-cold Budweiser.
That's right.
Tossing one your way. Nice catch.
Oh, I can't open this now. It's going to be
No, that thing's going to explode. Don't do that.
Okay.
All over. I'll open mine, though. This is a toast to Katie Wu, who has been a terrific reporter and personality here in St. Louis, and we will always know that her great career, it all started right here in St. Louis covering the Cardinals. Cheers to Katie. Congratulations,
Cheers, you guys.
Katie.
And I'm going to take this as a sign to start drinking at noon. So thank you, really.
She always has had some fun with us on KMOX, and you've been reading her for the last 5 years. Katie Wu, moving on to the winter meetings, this time covering the Dodgers. But she left us with some Cardinals thoughts, including her belief that the highest percentage of player to be traded is Lars Nootbaar over Brendan Donovan.
So unless the Cardinals are blown away by Brendan Donovan and the offers, and they might, over 15 teams are in on Donovan, they'll hold on to him. That means you pivot to Nootbaar, and the reason why I have him as the highest percentage of being traded is because he still has a ton of value. Rival teams love his analytics. Rival teams are not really all that concerned that he might miss a couple of weeks, maybe 4 most, to start the season. He has such a high upside still, and he's going to cost less than Donovan. So that, to me, are all those things that the Cardinals will be shopping. The things that I can say for absolutes, they do absolutely want to trade Nolan Arenado. That is priority number 1. There will just be things impacting that timing. And they do want to move 1, if not 2, of their left-handed hitters to kind of alleviate that roster logjam we've talked about for seasons now.
Baseball's winter meetings begin on Sunday. We will have full coverage on KMOX. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne are headed there. On Saturday, we'll have a doubleheader for you. The SEC Championship. It'll be Alabama and Georgia at 3, followed by the Big Ten Championship, number 1 Ohio State against number 2 Indiana. We have the NFL tonight on KMOX. Dallas at Detroit. Good matchup. 2 NFC playoff hopefuls going head-to-head. Women's basketball last night on KMOX. The Billikens.
Nelson, right side of the floor for Slew. Throws right side for Kira Brown.
Brown puts it on the deck. She's beyond three. She throws it over to Nelson. Attacks right baseline. Layup good on a one-on-one battle with Pettinelli. She gets fouled and she'll go to the free throw line. Lex Nelson's having a night. Nelson had 17. Jada Dennis ended with 24 as the Billikens beat St. Bonaventure 76-70. Coach Rebecca Tillett 1-0 in the A-10.
Yeah, we were talking as a team, right? Half the teams in the league won't win today, and half the teams will, and we wanted to be on the right side of it. I thought our women were really, really tough down the stretch, and that's something that we've been talking about, winning a close game and what type of toughness it takes to do that.
Blues play tonight. They're going to need some more toughness as they take on the Bruins in Boston. 6 o'clock faceoff. Blues really dealing with a lot of injuries right now. We'll sort it all out for you at 7:45 and hear from Coach Jim Montgomery. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-791-1313. 800-791-1313.
Hey guys, Glover here. You guys have heard me talk about my volunteering with Bethesda Hospice, but there's so much more Bethesda offers older adults. For a South County retirement community, for example, you can't do better than Bethesda Terrace. Residents and families love the gorgeous backyard with its patios and water features, exceptional dining, pet-friendly, plenty of activities, and frequent happy hours. Bethesda Terrace is the perfect location for your retirement years. In fact, residents often say they wish they'd moved in sooner. Learn more about Bethesda Terrace at BethesdaHealth.org/Glover.
Give the best of Broadway right here in St. Louis. Muni season tickets are on sale now, just in time for the holidays. Our 2026 season includes Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. See all 7 shows starting at just $126. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:20 and time to get you updated on traffic and weather on this very cold Thursday morning. Let's get the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center and Roger Brand.
Well, it hasn't been a bad morning on the highways, Debbie. A little slower. Of course, we're getting more volume and we're getting closer to the peak rush hour time. Northbound 55, midway up from 61 to 67. You're slow. You're backed up north of the Union Road overpass most of the way to River to Pear. North 270 slowed down at the 55 merge point. From Tesson Ferry up to 44 is pretty slow. And then a backup approaching Big Bend, and then from there just off the pace all the way to Ladue. So just a lot of volume at a slower pace running through there. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway into 64, most of the way to the Boulevard is pretty heavy. Eastbound 70, a little busy briefly past Cave Springs. If you're on N at Hawkridge Trail, we have signal problems there. And then Richmond Heights area, westbound 64, Hampton headed out to Hanley slow, eastbound 64, 170 into Big Bend busy. And it's just a little crowded westbound 64 at the 70 split. And then at the Missouri end of the Poplar, so still not bad for Illinois drivers. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Well, the weather is cold. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It is freezing cold. A high of only 25 degrees today. And then for tonight, partly cloudy, bitterly cold, says Joe Lundberg, a low of 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds. We get a bit of a warm up with a high of 41 degrees, so that'll help. But for right now, it's 17, feels like 9 downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots. Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life. Rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peters. chucksboots.com.
The news continues at 7:22. 2 agencies are still working together to help Illinois residents to avoid the TSA fee and to get their real ID.
Without a real ID or passport, Illinois residents will be charged $45 per person per flight by the TSA starting on February 1st. In an effort to make it easier to obtain key documents like birth certificates and marriage licenses to get that ID, Illinois Secretary of State Alexi Janulius has launched a new partnership with the Cook County Clerk's Office.
Don't wait. Get your real ID today and avoid the expensive and unnecessary federal upcharge.
County Clerk Monica Gordon joined the secretary at his offices downtown.
Every clerk's office location downtown and in the suburbs will now have designated cashiers dedicated to serving individuals with real ID related requests.
Mallory Vorbroker, WBBM.
You may have heard that we're in a K-shaped economy. What does that mean?
I asked KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz, a professor in the Chaffetz School of Business at St. Louis University.
It means that one group of people, the upper arm of the letter K, is taking an escalator up, and another group, the lower arm of the K, is on an escalator going down.
Katz says the rich have gotten richer compared to the Gilded Age of the Rockefellers and Vanderbilts. He says it's getting harder and harder for the middle class to gain wealth, and poorer Americans are having a more difficult time digging out of debt.
Visitation is from 3 to 8 for former St. Louis Mayor Jim Conway. It's at Cutis Funeral Home on Gravois. The funeral mass will be held at St. Margaret of Scotland Church Friday. Interment will be at Calvary Cemetery.
You'll see some familiar faces today ringing the Salvation Army bells. Office and alumni players from the Blues and Cardinals are going to be volunteering. All donations stay local. 90 cents of every dollar raised goes directly to services. The Blues will be at the Schnucks on Lindell from 10 to 4. Friday, it's the Cardinals in Richmond Heights from 10 to 6 at that Schnucks, and Fred Bird will be there from 2 to 3.
Perhaps you've had this argument. Do we go real or fake? Brian Douglas looks at the pros and cons of these holiday trees.
Well, it's a decision a lot of us make every single year. Should we get the real tree? After all, it smells great, right? Or do we get the artificial tree because we're going to be out of town for a while? It's a debate that's ongoing. So let's start first with the artificial tree. Why should we get one?
You don't have to kind of cut the trunk off and shake the needles out and water it every day and all those kinds of things. They come pre-lit. So they're just a lot easier.
All right, that's a decent reason. That's Mac Harmon, CEO and founder of Balsam Hill. They make artificial trees. But what about a real tree?
It's memories. It's a unique, special symbol of the holidays that you're celebrating, whatever that means to you.
That is Rick Dungy, Executive Director of the National Christmas Tree Association. And another good reason for a real tree?
I've certainly never enjoyed the smell of plastic and PVC and metal.
You see, kids, this is what our forefathers did.
I can't feel my leg.
They walked out into the woods, they picked out that special tree, and they cut it down with their bare hands.
So many good reasons for both the real and the artificial. But let's go back to the artificial tree. Perhaps if you want to save a little money, an artificial tree might be worth it.
Well, I think that's another real key point, is that an artificial tree, even though it's more expensive often up front, you can use that tree for years and years.
Now, keep in mind, if you are going to opt for that real tree, you have to make sure it fits.
Measure both the height that you need or prefer and the width.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Okay, let's recap quickly. A real tree, that can last for weeks if watered properly, and they just smell so darn good too. The artificial tree, that's great for those of you that love to keep your trees up for months, and you know who you are, and most are pre-lit.
Looks great. Little full, a lot of sap.
All right, now that we've worked all that out, I think we need to focus on the real big holiday debate. Is this?
Come to the coast, we get together, have a few laughs.
Die Hard, a Christmas movie or not? You can debate amongst yourselves.
Yeah, it is. It's a Christmas movie. It's based during Christmas. I don't know why it can't be a Christmas movie. It's not. Anyway.
I don't know why it even has to be a heated debate.
It's not. It's totally fine. It's 7:27. Time check. And real tree, by the way. That's the answer to that question, in my opinion.
Yeah,
anyway.
I've always had one, but the last few years I've had a fake tree.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
I know, and I miss the real tree, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Ted Drews, if you want one. 7:27. Time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Well, the answer to who do you have look for a great area for you to build a home, buy a home? Do you want to build a home on your own lot? It is McKelvey Homes, of course. McKelveyhomes.com, 1898, the year they were founded. McKelvey Homes, the absolute best. How do I know that? Well, when you've been around for 127 years, longer than everyone else, when you're building in all the best areas, when you have someone running your company like Jim Brennan, there just isn't anyone better out there. McKelvey Homes excited to introduce another new community. This is the Reserve at Wildwood. Yes, 50 acres at the southwest corner of 109 and 100 in the heart of Wildwood. This community offering a stunning collection of homes, Liberty 2-car, Liberty 3-car designer series, designed with the high-quality craftsmanship and style that McKelvey is known for. In the area, absolutely beautiful. Outdoor lovers will enjoy a private playground, rain gardens, miles of walking trails, plus you're very close to all the parks like Rockwood Reservation, Babbler State Park. You're near the Wildwood Town Center, so a lot of things to do. You're in the great Rockwood School District, just minutes away from the Reserve at Wildwood. McKelvey Homes, McKelveyhomes.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It is 7:30, and right now in downtown St. Louis, it's 17 degrees, feels like 9. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brands in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, just some slow going here and there as you get out the door. More volume on North 270 for sure, though, as you ramp on from 55. It's pretty much off the pace all the way up to 64. South 270, Olive down toward Ladue is a little busy. Eastbound 70, Z into 64, some traffic. A little slow down around Cave Springs, and then you're good to go. Southbound 61, Winslow Parkway on the 64 through Prospect. It's opening up before you get to the Boulevard. Looks like we may have an incident on eastbound 364 before Mid-Rivers. Traffic is bogged down about midway between K and Gudermuth, headed to that one. Eastbound 64 coming out of the valley. Clarkson into about Timberlake, slowing right through the Innerbelt area. McKnight through to about Big Bend. Westbound 64, Science Center out to Big Bend. That's pretty busy. Northbound 55, a little slow at 67. A backup north of Bayless up to River to Pear. Northbound Telegraph north of Herb, headed up through Forder or Pottle. Looks pretty heavy. Westbound 64, Baugh to the 70 split is slow, and then approaching Route 3 to the Poplar is heavy again. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Roger, it's frigid, and Joe Lundberg says it's not going to get much better than 25 is the high today. We will have some sun, low 13 tonight. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, and not so cold in the afternoon. A high of 41 will feel really good after today. Saturday, Sunday, highs in the upper 30s, and a bit of snow or flurries on Sunday, says Joe. Currently, it's 18 degrees, feels like 8 downtown at the Arch.
The Francis Howell School District was issued a subpoena by the Missouri State Auditor's Office after reportedly not turning over requested information. The district yesterday said it will now provide requested records about the $230,000 payout to former Superintendent Mike Dominguez, who resigned suddenly without explanation before ever really starting. The district had told the auditor's office that it could not provide documents about the departure without violating confidentiality or attorney-client privilege.
A firefighter had to be rescued this morning in a vacant house fire. Chief Dennis Jankerson says the roof collapsed at the house in the 2600 block of Ohio, and the firefighter was under the debris. There was also hoarding at the home, which Jankerson said hindered efforts. Injuries are considered minor. No word on what caused the fire.
With the driverless taxi company Waymo announcing they'll be expanding to St. Louis, who should lead the charge on regulations?
St. Louis City Mayor Kara Spencer, while expressing her excitement for this emerging industry coming to St. Louis, she does say there needs to be regulations put in place. She tells KMOX she would like to see Missouri follow the lead of other states by creating regulations around the driverless cars.
There are states, as I mentioned, that regulate these, and the local jurisdictions aren't necessarily need to be involved.
Spencer says she would like the region to also adopt shared, consistent regulations if they go that route. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next.
Oh, baby, it's happening. FanDuel Sportsbook is live and ready to roll in the Show Me stage, and they're celebrating with a little something for everyone. All this week, every customer gets a no-sweat bet every day. That's right. No matter what you're betting on, if it doesn't hit, you'll get bonus bets back to keep the action going. Whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or whatever you're into, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and built for every kind of fan. So the interface is quick, payouts are fast, the experience is top tier. Download it at FanDuel.com/Missouri. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel Sportsbook now live in Missouri. 21 plus and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Opt-in required each day. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $20. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It is now 7:35. It's time for your Money Minute from Bloomberg, and it's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The European Commission has launched a full-scale antitrust investigation into Meta Platforms over its AI features in WhatsApp. The regulators are citing concerns they may harm competition. Eventual fines for breaching the bloc's antitrust rulebook could be as high as 10% of global annual revenue. Shares of Salesforce climbed on signs customers are embracing its artificial intelligence tools. The software company raised its full-year forecast. Novo Nordisk has left open the door for additional work on its pill version of Ozempic for Alzheimer's disease. They say patients did show a biological response in a handful of areas. And older individuals are fueling a fast-expanding pocket of the financial advisory world. There are now around 3,500 certified divorce financial analysts in the U.S. They operate at the intersection of wealth management, retirement planning, and family law. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Blues fans, it's Peanuts Night at Enterprise Center. On December 17th, the St. Louis Blues face off against the Winnipeg Jets. And with a special theme ticket purchase, you'll take home an exclusive bobblehead featuring Snoopy driving a Zamboni and Woodstock along for the ride. It's the perfect collectible for hockey and Peanuts fans alike, celebrating Snoopy's winter spirit and love for the game. Don't miss a night of hockey, nostalgia, and fun for the whole family. Get your tickets now at stlouisblues.com/promotions.
I get asked a lot on when's the best time to buy a furnace or an air conditioner. My response always is, with us, it doesn't really matter. I don't mark your prices up. because it's cold or it's hot. But with the tax credit that's expiring at the end of the month of December for 2025 and 0% interest on all of our products right now. So you get 0% through the month of December on the majority of what we offer you, furnaces or air conditioners or both. That's a big savings to you. It makes it really, really affordable, not just because it's Christmas or anything like that. It's just if you can eliminate interest, that's a lot of money a month that you save. So if you're in the need for a furnace or a furnace and air, call me. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or Bart Inman, that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. Merry Christmas and God bless.
At Hardee's, every Tuesday is now Tender Bender Tuesday. Right now, download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards. Buy 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders, get 3 free. It's Tender Bender BOGO every Tuesday now through June 2026. This Tuesday, get 3 tenders free. Next Tuesday, get them free. The Tuesday after that, you guessed it, free. Buy 3 tenders, get 3 free. Another great benefit for My Rewards members. Only at Hardee's. Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
Get ready for Thursday night football as the Cowboys take on the Lions.
St. Ben Cancer Center game time 6:30. St. Ben Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Cowboys, the Lions on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is going on 7:40. Let's get you updated on traffic and weather. If you're just heading out the door, hopefully it's smooth sailing for you, but I would definitely use the seat warmers this morning. Maybe some driving gloves. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, at least things aren't heating up on the highways. Busier, but not bad, Debbie. This traffic reports service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. Just a little slow north 55 into 67. It is backed up from the Union Road overpass up to about Weber and a little busy the Loughborough Holly Hills area. Northbound Telegraph from about north of Herb headed up through Pottle. There's some pretty heavy traffic. North 270 slows approaching Tesson Ferry, and that pretty much goes all the way up to Ladue. But South 270 looks great. The 364 all the way down to Ladue. Southbound 61, Winsfield Parkway onto 64. The Boulevard's a little busy. It's backed up coming out of the valley through the Clarkson Road area, and it's slow midway in from Lindbergh through McKnight's at the Interbelt. South 170 is kind of bogged down at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Science Center headed out through Bellevue. You're bumper to bumper. And at Hawkridge Trail, we have signal problems out in Lake St. Louis and a backup on end. Westbound 64 downtown. Slow stretches from Ball Avenue headed across the Poplar Street Bridge. Other than that, though, the rest of the interstates are doing pretty well for you on this Thursday morning. A little slow down westbound 70 around the bend at O'Fallon Park, and eastbound 70 is a little busy at 370. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
At 7:41, AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with that wind whipping downtown. It feels, absolutely unbearable out there.
Yeah, and it's not as cold this morning as it will be tomorrow morning. Just imagine that. Temperatures are now in the upper teens to about 20 across the area. We'll see some sunshine today, but it is going to have little impact on warming things up. We'll crawl a few degrees up to about 25 before the sun gives up in disgust and just sets tonight. Partly cloudy skies down to 13. Some of the colder outlying areas may very well get down below 10. Tomorrow, more sun and clouds. We do retreat from the cold a bit, the high 41. Cold on Saturday with clouds, some sun and a high of 38. There may be a little snow or flurries around on Sunday. It doesn't look like a big system, but just kind of adding insult to injury, the high 36. Very cold on Monday with clouds and sun, the high 32. Then it does start to get a little bit milder for the middle of next week. It's 18 at St. Peter's, 18 in Florissant, 20 partly sunny downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thanks, Joe. It is 7:42, and there are some big changes for a local restaurant company. Session Taco has closed its Town and Country location in Woods Mill Plaza, and the Central West End location is closed for a rebrand. The Town and Country location opened in 2023 in what owner Adam Tilford called a post-COVID boom. But then, he tells the Business Journal, restaurant sales nationwide began declining and they were never able to get traction. Meanwhile, the city location will reopen soon as La Pez Mod Med. Tilford says it's a tough dining economy right now, and they wanted to offer something different for diners to try upscale Mexican cuisine that focuses on wood-fired techniques.
What do you think was going on in the mind of Pope Leo in the days and moments before he was elected pontiff last May? As KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer reports, the Chicago native is now openly talking about it.
Just a year or two ago, I thought about retiring someday.
Pope Leo talking with reporters on the papal plane, flying back to the Vatican following his first official journey to Turkey and Lebanon.
The conclave itself, I believe very strictly about the secret of the conclave, even though I know there have been public interviews where some things were revealed. I said to a reporter the day before I was elected, she caught me on the street. I was going to lunch across the street at the Augustinians, and she said, well, what do you think? You've become one of the candidates. And I simply said, everything is in the hands of God. And I believe that profoundly. What was it like? I resigned myself to the fact when I saw how things were going, that I said, this could be a reality. I took a deep breath. I said, here we go, Lord. You're in charge, and you lead the way.
Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Seats in vehicles are getting more and more high-tech. This is Jeff Gilbert with the Core Chronicles. Massaging seats are nothing new, but they are getting more and more like real massages.
This is a deep recline seat that we build currently in China, and this has an advanced comfort system in it. And if you want to try it, I would highly encourage it.
I hope I don't doze off.
There is a risk.
Tom Gould is innovation leader at supplier Adient. Now, don't worry, this seat is for when a vehicle is parked and you want to really relax.
Seats like this are very prevalent over in China with this deep recline. They package their vehicles around a seat system like this.
These seats could become more important as vehicles get more automated and you can take your eyes off the road. Gould says they're getting more requests for seats like this in other parts of the world, including the U.S. No timetable for their arrival. With the Core Chronicles, I'm Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
You know what? Let's actually start with the Blues this time. 6 o'clock face-off for them in Boston. Always brings back great memories. Game 7, winning the Stanley Cup in Boston in 2019. This is a different Blues team. Not only are they 2 games under 500, but they are riddled with injuries right now, really struggling there. First, they had Pius Suter, who missed the past 2 games with a lower body injury, but he practiced yesterday. Looks like he's going to play tonight. Alexei Toropchenko, did you hear about this one? Scalding burns to his legs in a home accident. The Blues wouldn't talk about it further, but he is listed as week to week. Jimmy Snuggerud, wrist surgery. He's out 6 weeks. Nathan Walker is out 8 weeks after blocking a shot. He is now on IR. Enter a new player, a new face to talk about. Alexanteri Kaskamaki. He's 21 years old. He's from Finland. He's a left-handed shot. He was drafted in the 3rd round in 2022, and it is time for his NHL moment. Here is Coach Jim Montgomery.
Yeah, I think excitement to be the energy to be in the NHL is obvious, and that's a good jolt for our team right now. Also a little deer in the headlights because we've changed some things from training camp, so he's just getting acclimated, and a very intelligent player, won't have an issue acclimating to that.
The way Montgomery talks about him, he speaks of him very highly. Kaskamaki, the 21-year-old, will get a look at him tonight as the Blues take on the Bruins at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Cardinals are getting ready for the winter meetings in Orlando. We will have full coverage on KMOX beginning Sunday. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne will be there. The NFL tonight, it's Dallas at Detroit in a terrific matchup in the NFC. The Cowboys are 3-point underdogs on the road, even though Dallas has won 3 in a row. They've beaten the Eagles, they've beaten the Chiefs, and they look good. Their quarterback, Dak Prescott, maybe a dark horse MVP candidate if they keep on rolling here And the Lions, who have lost 3 of 4, have to get their offense back firing again. This should be an interesting game on KMOX tonight. We have a doubleheader college football coming up on Saturday. We will have the SEC championship, Alabama and Georgia, coming to you from Atlanta at 3 o'clock. We will follow that with the Big Ten championship in Indianapolis. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana. They kick off at 7 o'clock. College basketball last night, the SLU women victorious in their A10 opener. They beat St. Bonaventure at Chaffetz Arena 76-70. On the men's side, Southern Illinois is a good team to keep an eye on. They beat High Point last night. High Point's a good team. 86-84 was the final in that one. This game was played in High Point, North Carolina. Salukis went on the road and won with a 52-point second half. That's an explosive team to watch in the Valley. Illinois State is also very good. They beat Eastern Kentucky 89-78. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina, your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
Before he became one of the most celebrated broadcasters in America, Bob Costas launched his remarkable career right here at KMOX.
I was 22 years old when I came to KMOX.
Costas called play-by-play for the Spirits of St. Louis, hosted Open Line, and covered Mizzou basketball, all while honoring the sharp wit and subtle comic timing he displayed as a semi-regular on The Carney Show.
Jack Carney, he introduced me to the St. Louis audience beyond the basketball games that I was calling.
His 7 years at KMOX set the stage for a legendary national career. From hosting 12 Olympic Games to winning 29 Emmy Awards, Bob Costas has become one of the defining voices of American broadcasting, always proudly connected to the city where it all began. Bob Costas, a KMOX pioneer.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Winterfest is back for the 10th year in Keener Plaza, now through January 11th. Enjoy Winterfest traditions, including ice skating, s'mores, and igloos underneath 100,000 twinkling lights in the shadow of the Gateway Arch. Grab a bite or drink from downtown favorites and enjoy a family-friendly New Year's Eve fireworks spectacular. Winterfest, hosted by Gateway Arch Park Foundation, presented by Bank of America and Worldwide Technology. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
7:50 in time for another check of the roadways. We start with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
But we're still slow, Debbie, on northbound 270 north of 55 all the way up to Ladue. South 270, though, looks good coming down to Ladue. Eastbound 364, still a little busy. East of K, most of the way into Mid-Rivers, just slow, not jammed, so it looks better there now. Eastbound 64, coming off 70 through to a point before Lake St. Louis Boulevard, it's busy. From Boone's Crossing all the way in through Clarkson, it's slow. You have a little bit of a backup, bumper-to-bumper stuff. Lindbergh midway into McKnight, or maybe a little closer to McKnight. They cleared I think it was a crash. I can see the flashing lights on the shoulder before you get to McKnight. Then it's just a little slow at the Interbelt. South 170 bogs down at Ladue. Westbound 64 Science Center all the way to Hanley. That's busy. Northbound 55 a little heavy into 67, backed up north of the Union Road overpass up through Weber, and it remains slow all the way up to about Virginia. And downtown westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar. Some stop-and-go stuff. Westbound 70 kind of slow around the bend west of Adelaide, and eastbound 70 a little heavy between the Blanchette and Earth City. Next update is 7:58 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Roger, they're just going to have to withstand the cold today. It is very, very cold out there, so make sure that you take the proper precautions. It is going to be a high of only 25 today, and then tonight, bitterly cold, says Joe Lundberg, a low of 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, not so cold in the afternoon, a high of 41, but it is freezing out there right now, especially with the wind blowing like it is. It's 18 degrees, but it feels like 8 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:52. In national news, a full report is expected to be released today in what's being called Signalgate. The Pentagon Inspector General has determined that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth jeopardized sensitive military information when he shared certain details about U.S. military operations in Yemen in a private Signal Group chat earlier this year. We get more from CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
The controversy surrounding Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth continues to grow this morning. Sources tell CBS News a new Pentagon Inspector General's report found he put U.S. service members at risk by sharing sensitive details of an active bombing mission in Yemen in March in a Signal Group chat with other top officials, which mistakenly included a journalist.
Department of Homeland Security launched an immigration enforcement operation dubbed Operation Catahoula Crunch in New Orleans on Wednesday. The operation is part of President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigrants. CBS's Katie Weiss is in New Orleans with the latest on Operation Catahoula Crunch.
The DHS continues to say their operations are targeting people with violent criminal histories. But an internal agency document obtained by CBS News indicated that only around a third of those arrested in the recent immigration enforcement operations in Charlotte were classified as criminals.
A new poll finds young Americans are worried about a lot of things.
57% in the Harvard Youth Poll say the country is headed in the wrong direction. That's a 6-point increase from last year. 43% of those in the survey say they're struggling financially or getting by with limited financial security. The numbers are higher for Black and Hispanic respondents and those without a college degree. Inflation was the most urgent economic issue for 18 to 29-year-olds in both political parties. 59% see AI as a threat to their job prospects. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
What's the toy story when it comes to the best gifts to go under the tree this year?
One of the real experts in this field is a man who plays a lot, consultant Chris Byrne, a.k.a. the Toy Guy.
There isn't one runaway best toy. And I always think that's a great thing because what it means is that people are buying toys that are appropriate for the children they're buying for. That said, this is going to be a big year for games. Games for families, games still coming out of the pandemic are really huge. There's one that we've been having a good time with called Exploding Kittens, the board game.
Your mission is to make it all the way to the end of the board without stumbling onto the dreaded exploding kitten.
It's a card game, and it's essentially a basic chase game, and there's all kinds of fighting and strategy.
So how about that holiday favorite, cuddly animals?
A lot of people have heard of La Boo Boo from Pop Mart. That's been more of a fashion accessory than a toy. This has been a huge year for Hello Kitty, Sanrio's Hello Kitty, and some of the other Sanrio properties.
Thank you so much for making these super cute Hello Kitty blind boxes.
It's been a good year for the Care Bears, which have been around now for 42 years.
Boy, do you have weird friends. Eddie, we're the Care Bears, and we care about you. Who asked you to care about me? We know you're not really mean, Eddie.
We've even got animatronic plush. There's one called Ouchies from Moose Toys, and it's an animatronic dog that it hurts its leg, and you put a cast on the leg, and it heals. So it's really all about the nurturing play.
And he says it's not just Care Bears. Other old-fashioned toys are really making a comeback.
One of the things we've seen with the Gen Alpha kids especially is that they grew up with screens. You can't really impress a child with a screen. They've had one in their hand since they could hold it. But what we are seeing is a lot more dimensional play, whether Lego, things like Magnetiles, Kinetics, anything that is tactile. This has been a huge year for compounds and slime.
Today we're going to be mixing all our slimes. We have 32 slimes in total.
Toy influencers get younger and younger.
It is now 7:56. You're listening to Total Information AM.
Experience a musical kaleidoscope as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs Shostakovich's 15th, Rebellion and Reckoning, an epic symphonic memoir. Cellist Kian Soltani joins to make his St. Louis debut, using his bow to tell the story of Haydn's elegant cello concerto. December 5th and 6th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Medicine physicians have long been leaders in heart and vascular care. Now, we're taking the patient experience to another level by opening our new state-of-the-art patient tower, designed specifically with heart patients in mind. By combining the latest technology with thoughtful design and private rooms, heart patients can experience faster healing, reduce stress, and improved outcomes. Learn more at barnesjewish.org/heart.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
You need that heating today. Roger Brand, take us to the top overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, Tom. Well, we still have a lot of slow traffic on North 270, bogged down, approaching Tesson Ferry to a point about midway between Gravelly and 44, and then north of 44. It's busy again all the way up to Ladue. The southbound side coming down to Ladue doesn't look bad. Eastbound 70 still a little slow down right there coming into 270. Doesn't look like a big deal. Eastbound 64 a little busy around Lake St. Louis Boulevard. A brief delay at Clarkson. You're backed up Spady most of the way into McKnight. They had cleared a crash to the shoulder there. South 170, some slow pockets. Delmar to 64, westbound 64 from Hampton headed out through Hanley. Kind of busy in spots. 44 Elm toward Laclede Station is busy. North 55 Bayless up through Virginia is slow as well. From the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin with bleak news on the job market. A new report says the number of layoffs this year has reached a 5-year high. Correspondent Michael Wallace has the details.
The outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas says there were more than 71,000 layoffs announced in November, pushing the total for the year above 1.1 million. That's the most since 2020, the first year of the pandemic. And it's a 54% jump from the same 11-month period a year ago. Companies that are slashing their payrolls have cited corporate restructuring, tariffs, and the switch to AI.
The government says filings for jobless benefits fell last week to their lowest level in 3 years. Breaking news from Washington. CBS News has learned the FBI has made an arrest in its nearly 5-year-old investigation into who placed explosives in the nation's capital the night before the January 6th attack. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
The person who left those pipe bombs outside the Republican Party headquarters and the Democratic Party headquarters on January 5th, 2021, left potentially deadly devices in uniquely sensitive areas. And what's more, those devices detoured, derailed, and distracted police at a sensitive moment. They were discovered just as the riotous mob was approaching.
No details yet on the suspect. A new chapter in the Signalgate saga, a report expected today from the Pentagon, pointing a finger at Defense Secretary Hegseth, saying he could have endangered lives when he shared details of an imminent U.S. airstrike in a group chat on the Signal app. Texas Republican Congressman Michael McCall.
It could have been done better, put it that way. Did it ultimately endanger lives? No. But in the future, I would have a better practice to go under to make sure these communications are secure so they don't leak to the public.
A top Navy admiral is expected to face questions from lawmakers today on those double strikes on a suspected drug boat that killed survivors of the first hit. 2 days after meeting with Russian President Putin in Moscow, President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff meets with Ukrainian officials in Miami today on a plan to end the war. The BBC's Vitaly Shevchenko.
After all the talks involving the Russians, the Ukrainians, and the Americans, Moscow's rhetoric has not changed much. It's as hardline as it's been all this time.
In Athens, the flame for next year's Winter Olympics in Milan, formally handed over to Italian organizers in an all-marble stadium where the very first games were held almost 130 years ago. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, just 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, December 4th. I'm Megan Lynch. A firefighter is hurt in an early morning house fire when the roof collapsed. Chief Dennis Jenkerson describes the scene to our partners at Fox 2.
There was so much snow on the roof, it was almost what I'm going to call a silent collapse. It lowered onto him, pinned him into the room, into the floor, separated him from his partner because they were always working pairs, pinned his arms to his chest, flat on his back. He remained calm, called a mayday.
Jenkerson says that firefighter was under layers of rubble for at least 12 minutes, but has only minor injuries. In fact, he was treated on the scene and not taken to the hospital. This was in the 2600 block of a vacant house on Ohio. St. Louis County facing approximately an $80 million shortfall. As to where and how that can be made up waits to be seen.
But the St. Louis County Council appears to be gearing up for a fight with County Executive Dr. Sam Page. Councilman Mark Harder.
Heard from some folks in the media that the administration is telling the media that if this administration doesn't like the cuts that we are going to recommend next week, that somehow the county executive will veto the bills. Well, if you look at your charter, that's not possible.
Harder says whatever the council comes up with next week will be the budget for 2026. There seems to be little room for negotiations. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Regional Sports Authority wants to join forces with Explore St. Louis. They voted unanimously to do so yesterday. The RSA owns the Dome, and their chairman, Reverend Earl Nance Jr., is also asking for $150 million. We asked him, what if this doesn't work?
Well, say goodbye to the Dome. If it doesn't work, turn out the lights, the party's over.
Explore St. Louis votes today on whether to merge. Then it will be up to the legislative body to approve it. We'll have more with the Reverend coming up later this morning here on Total Information AM. Waymo coming to St. Louis. It's a driverless taxi business model that began in Los Angeles just over a year ago. What kind of issues did they have with this new form of transportation?
Other than the fact that the Waymos kind of drive like grandma, they go by the speed limit and they follow all the laws. I've never had an issue with them.
That's editor for KMOX's Los Angeles affiliate KNX, Brian Belansky, who says on the road, the Waymos are usually not a problem in his experience. He says they do struggle when presented with unusual road conditions.
Like maybe a car accident or something else. I think that might be where there might be still some work to do on the way it works.
He says one of the bigger issues comes when the Waymos are off the road while parked and charging, with neighbors around their lots dealing with lots of lights and loud noises during all hours of the evening. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A hospital for children with complex medical needs has found a unique way to help parents transition from a facility to home. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer tells us more.
Franklin Jordan Pediatric Bridge Hospital has created a simulated home where parents can practice and build confidence before they're on their own.
While the family's in the sim home, they are responsible. They can call for help, but you're dealing with feedings and med administration and responding to alarms and finding out how you're going to navigate the equipment and the environment with your child.
Dr. Nick Holkamp tells KMOX parents are sent home with a go bag full of any supplies they need, plus a few restaurant and food delivery gift cards to make the first 48 hours at home easier. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Missouri has nearly 500 people in jail awaiting a mental health evaluation to see if they're competent to stand trial.
Branson State Representative Brian Seitz tells MissouriNet he has pre-filed a bill that would require any person arrested and subject to an evaluation to have one within 45 days of their arrest.
We have inmates that have been held, in local municipalities, cities, and so forth, for upwards of a year awaiting a mental health evaluation.
The long line for an evaluation has been an increasing problem for Missouri over the past few years. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A new fiber network is launching in Alton that will eventually cover the city with high-speed internet. Right now, it's operating in 2 neighborhoods. Alton Works FiberNet, a $20 million network, was developed in part with state money, operated by i3 Broadband. Alton Works was created by law firm founder John Simmons as part of his efforts to revitalize Alton and make the city a draw for tech companies and foodies, according to the Business Journal. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Life is better together. At Fairwinds River's Edge, dynamic activity calendars, excellent meal options, and an abundance of services come together to create a strong sense of community where meaningful connections are cultivated. Here, you can trust that there will always be something fun and social to do. It's not just a place to live, it's a place to belong. To see what's happening this month, visit us on Facebook or online, fairwindsriversedge.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Join the team trusted here since 1926. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. We will train motivated applicants to repair and install garage doors. Mechanical, carpentry, and service industry experience is a plus. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in St. Louis. Apply today at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10, time to check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're still pretty slow on North 270, Megan. There's a slowdown briefly north of Gravois and then north of 44 all the way up to Ladue. It's just off the pace the whole drive through. If you're on eastbound 64 from 270 in through Clayton Warson, pretty slow the whole way through. We had an incident earlier just west of McKnight. It's still a little busy around the Interbelt after that, but not so bad. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, that's still bogged down. Northbound 55, you've just got a little bit of a slowdown approaching Weber and approaching Loughborough. There's a couple little busy spots there. And downtown westbound 64, 3rd Street to the Poplar, again, like everything else, just a slowdown, not a jam. The rest of these highways don't look bad. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, partly sunny today, but quite cold. High only 25. Partly cloudy, frigid tonight, down to 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, but not so cold in the afternoon. The high rebounds to 41. Saturday will be rather cold with intervals of clouds and sun and a high of 38. Sunday, cloudy and cold, perhaps a bit of snow or flurries, high 36. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have cloudy skies now, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch. This is Megan Lynch. You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. 2 years ago, the group Common Sense Media launched a first ever rating system for AI platforms. The technology is now advanced with lightning speed, so I wanted to get an update on their efforts. Joining me now is Robbie Torney, Senior Director for AI Programs. Robbie, thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks, Megan.
It's been 2 years. What have you learned about artificial intelligence platforms?
2 years in, we've learned that AI companions pose serious risks to teens, and many parents don't even know that their kids are using AI for companionship, which includes simulated relationships, mental health advice, and emotional support. 2 years ago, we were mostly looking at homework helpers and other sort of school-related use of AIs, but now AI companions are everywhere. Teens can access them through Instagram, through WhatsApp, through Snapchat, or through apps and platforms like ChatGPT. And this has been a huge and new use case that we've been looking into over the past 2 years.
I've heard a lot of warnings about the chatbots recently, and I think I would agree that a lot of parents, myself included, I don't even know, for example, where my kids would access them until you just mentioned that list of things. How many new platforms have come on the market that offer these chatbots since you started this?
There are quite a few specialized platforms for companionship, but also many of the multi-use chatbots can be used for companionship as well. So it's really a lot of apps. And I think one thing that's really important for parents to know is that according to our nationally representative survey research, this is a mainstream use of AI. It's not niche. Over 70% of teens have used AI for companionship. Over half qualify as regular users. This is happening in quite literally millions of homes across this country at a very, very large scale.
When you talk about the kids that use AI chatbots, go into more detail about what they're using them for. What are they talking to them about?
It's a range of things. Our research shows that some kids are using them for entertainment. It's kind of like playing a video game, chatting with a character from a movie or a book series or a fandom that they're really into. Other kids are using these bots as a place to explore and process feelings. And some kids are forming relationships with AI companions. According to a recent survey that came out from CDT in October, another nationally representative survey, 1 in 5 teens say that they know somebody who has had a relationship with an AI companion at this point in time.
When you say relationship, explain for parents what that is.
Yeah, so this is a romantic relationship, an AI boyfriend or an AI girlfriend. So you could think about, your kid having a first crush, a first partner, a first relationship in high school. Many kids are turning to AI for that purpose at this point in time.
It would strike me that this escalates very quickly for some kids that get caught up in it because this is something that is always with them. They can, for example, pull it up on their phones and have access to these chatbots at all hours of the day.
Yeah, that 24/7 availability is absolutely one of the factors that makes this dangerous for kids. I think for parents, it's also potentially troubling because the chatbot interactions are happening on platforms or in ways that look like other ways that teens are already using smartphones. They look like text conversations. They might look like voice conversations. The usage of the smartphone might not look that different from how teens have been using it before. But instead of having conversations with real people or scrolling on social media, teens are potentially having conversations with AI chatbots.
Are there any benefits to these AI chatbots?
Right now, our research continues to show across all chatbot platforms that AI chatbots for companionship are unacceptably risky for teens. They do not give advice the way that an adult or a friend would. They don't understand when users are in danger or at risk of hurting themselves or others. And this risk of emotional dependency is quite extreme, especially for vulnerable teens and users. At this point in time, we don't recommend the use of AI chatbots for companionship for anyone under 18.
Why is it taking lawsuits and congressional testimony for people to understand the risks of this?
I think there's 2 reasons. First, users do like talking to AI chatbots. If you talk to teens or you talk to adults who use AI for this purpose, it does fill a need in their life, especially if they are lonely or disconnected from other peer groups. And I think that's like a really important root cause to address. And secondly, these chatbots are extremely engaging. If you look at industry research on the platforms that are most popular with consumers, chatbots that have companion-like features are by far the most engaging. So if you're a tech company and you want to have users on your platform, this type of interaction is one that you're not going to want to turn off.
Is there any likelihood of getting these tech giants to put better guardrails in place?
We have definitely seen many of the tech giants and many of the frontier labs do work to improve the safety of their models. And I think we do want to give credit for that. I think, unfortunately, the guardrails that have been put in place still aren't making these chatbots a good fit for these emotional or mental health conversations. So our push to the tech companies has been, let's turn this feature off for now. Let's prevent kids from having access to these types of conversations. This is really an untested experiment. It is really using our kids like guinea pigs. And unfortunately, I think we do believe that regulation is going to be necessary to get to a place where this use case is understood to be unacceptably risky for teens and treated as such with products.
Robbie, there's no doubt that AI is now a part of our world. So what do you recommend parents do to try to work with and educate their kids on the risks of some of these AI platforms?
So I think the first is just direct conversations. Are you chatting with AI on your apps? Talking about the difference between using AI for schoolwork or informational purposes and some of these other emotional support purposes and why it's so dangerous. Parents can help teens understand that the business model of, in some cases, of these platforms is designed on hooking them, engaging them, collecting their data, and monetizing them. Those are messages that Gen Z and Gen Alpha are really resonant with. They have grown up with social media and they understand some of the harms that happen when companies put profits ahead of their own physical and mental well-being. And I think that parents can help teens understand why AI chatbots can't replace real mental health support. There has to be a space for teens to come to understand the ways in which those relationships are different than the real relationships they have. And I think quite troublingly, according to our recent survey of teen users of AI companions, 1 in 3 users reported their interactions with AI companions to be more or equally satisfying as their interactions with real people. So this is definitely a place where parent conversations, teacher conversations, community conversations are going to matter to really understand what's appealing about this technology, why teens like it, and to help educate them and the general public about the risks associated with using AI for this particular purpose right now.
Robbie, thanks so much for your insights.
Thank you.
That is Robbie Torney, Senior Director of AI Programs for Common Sense Media. Oh, last time we spoke with Roger Brand, he said the roads weren't too bad. Let's get an update now from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, mostly just some slow traffic, Megan. North 270 is that way, north of 44, all the way up through 64. It actually backs up through that 64 merge on up to Ladue after that. So I may have an incident at the end of those 64 ramps. We'll see if we can find out what's going on there, if there is anything. Eastbound 64, a little slow, both sides of 270, and then Lindbergh most of the way in through Big Bend, just kind of off the pace. We had an earlier incident near McKnight. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Hanley. That's pretty busy. North 55, barely a slowdown through Weber River to Pear and around Holly Hills and downtown. Westbound 64, again, still just a slowdown from about 3rd Street headed across the Poplar. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Checking that forecast for today, we should see a little bit of sunshine. It's going to be cold today, a high only around 25. Bitterly cold tonight, an overnight low of 13. And then tomorrow, more sun than clouds, not quite so cold, a high of 41. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 18 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo at Hannaford. It's got twang.
Bet the game day action right from your phone. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Use code RADIOMO. Place your first bet of $5 or more and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Open to new users in Missouri who are 21 or older. First wager after registration must qualify and win. And bonus bets expire 30 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promotions or the promotions tab on the app for full terms. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
One of the doctors who sold ketamine to actor Matthew Perry before his death is now sentenced to 2.5 years in prison.
Matt Stevens is a reporter for the New York Times. He was in court when Salvador Plasencia was sentenced. Matt, before we get to what happened in court today, briefly remind us, what was Plasencia's role in this?
Yes, hey, thanks, Alex, and thanks for having me. As was made clear in court today, Mr. Plasencia was a doctor who supplied ketamine as part of a chain that eventually made its way to Matthew Perry. But as was made abundantly clear by lawyers in court today, evidence was not brought forward to show that it was actually the specific ketamine that he supplied that killed Matthew Perry. What he had pled guilty to was 4 counts of distribution of ketamine.
We heard about the text where he called Perry a moron for how much he paid for ketamine. It seemed like it was a pretty powerful moment when Perry's mom addressed that today.
Yes, one of the things that happens, as you know, in sentencing is that family members, people who were impacted by a crime, get to do what are called victim statements and sort of address the court and also address the defendant in court. And so there were several members of Matthew Perry's family and extended family who were in the front row today, including one family member who I believe said she had flown in from Colorado. But perhaps the most compelling testimony came from Matthew Perry's mother, who early in her remarks looked over at Dr. Plasencia and asked him whether he had a kid. I think she had heard that, in fact, he did have a young son. And, she basically said, I want you to see his mother, and told him this was a bad thing that you did.
So Plasencia, who ran this urgent care clinic in Calabasas, has already lost a lot. He can't practice medicine anymore. He's lost his business. Now he's going to prison for 2.5 years. What did he have to say about what he did?
Mr. Plasencia, was very stoic during the proceedings. He wiped his brow a lot. When he did get an opportunity to speak, he spoke very softly, did what he had done in his plea agreement. He accepted responsibility. And, he said that he had failed Mr. Perry, failed Mr. Perry's family, and turned to look at the family members who were there in the front, said straight to them, there is no excuse.
So we still have a few more threads to tie up in this case, particularly with the defendant they call the ketamine queen, right?
Yes, there are 5 defendants in this case, and this was the first of the 5 to be actually sentenced. Some of them actually have their sentencing scheduled for the next, 4 to 6 weeks. The folks that, listeners have probably heard of include the person known as the ketamine queen, Jasmine Sangha, who has pleaded guilty to some of the same counts. And then also the personal assistant involved in this case, Matthew Perry's personal assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, who is charged with actually injecting Mr. Perry with the fatal dose of ketamine that killed him.
Matt Stevens, reporter for the New York Times, covering the Matthew Perry case, who was in court today for the sentencing. Matt, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Board games are back under the Christmas tree. We will hear more about some of the best toys to gift this holiday season coming up.
It's time for a $98 Furnace tune-up.
A KFC tale in the pursuit of flavor. The holidays were tricky for the Colonel. He loved people, but he also loved peace and quiet. So he cooked up KFC's $4.99 chicken pot pie. Warm, flaky, with savory sauce and vegetables. It's a tender chicken-filled excuse to get some time to yourself and step away from decking the halls, whatever that means. The Colonel lived so we could chicken. KFC's chicken pot pie, the best $4.99 you'll spend this season.
Prices and participation may vary while supplies last. Taxes, tips, and fees extra.
Selling your home, it's one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. You could go it alone, trying to navigate market trends, determine fair pricing, and tackle tricky negotiations on your own. You could second guess every decision, wondering if you're doing it right. Then there's the showings, the offers, and the mountain of paperwork. Or you could work with the expertise of a realtor, here to guide and help protect as you make your next big move. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
8:30. Let's get you the latest on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Here's Roger Brand.
Well, the slow going isn't as bad, but it's still busy in a couple of spots. Making this traffic reports a service of Four Pretty Paws, northbound Highway 270, Doherty Ferry, all the way up to Ladue. That's busy. If you're on eastbound 64, it's still slowed down from Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. South 170 backs up at the Parkway. Westbound 64 approaching Hampton, headed out through that Hanley area, just sort of slow all the way through coming out of the city. North 55 is cleared out into downtown. Downtown, we have an incident. I can't tell if it's a stall or a crash, but a lane blocked just past the Dome on westbound 44, so traffic's backed up onto 70, pretty close to Tucker, and then westbound 64 just slow Route 3 to the Poplar downtown as well. Since 2018, Four Pretty Paws Mobile's Pet Spa has provided stress-free one-on-one grooming right at your doorstep. Convenient, personal, and trusted. Book your holiday appointment at fourprettypaws.com. Now serving Southern Illinois. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we may see a little bit of sunshine today. It's going to be very cold, a high only around 25 degrees. And tonight we're going to dip down into bitterly cold conditions, an overnight low of 13. Tomorrow, more sun than clouds, not so cold in the afternoon, a high of 41. And then Saturday, cold with intervals of clouds and sun, a high of 38. Right now, we do have cloudy skies, 18 degrees in downtown St. Louis. What's the toy story when it comes to the best gifts to go under the tree this year? Here's Scott Bird.
One of the real experts in this field is a man who plays a lot, consultant Chris Byrne, a.k.a. the Toy Guy.
There isn't one runaway best toy. And I always think that's a great thing because what it means is that people are buying toys that are appropriate for the children they're buying for. That said, this is going to be a big year for games. Games for families, games still coming out of the pandemic are really huge. There's one that we've been having a good time with called Exploding Kittens, the board game.
Your mission is to make it all the way to the end of the board without stumbling onto the dreaded exploding kitten.
It's a card game, and it's essentially a basic chase game, and there's all kinds of fighting and strategy.
So how about that holiday favorite, cuddly animals?
A lot of people have heard of La Boo Boo from Pop Mart. That's been more of a fashion accessory than a toy. This has been a huge year for Hello Kitty, Sanrio's Hello Kitty, and some of the other Sanrio properties.
Thank you so much for making these super cute Hello Kitty blind boxes.
It's been a good year for the Care Bears, which have been around now for 42 years.
Boy, do you have weird friends. Eddie, we're the Care Bears, and we care about you. Who asked you to care about me?
We know you're not really mean, Eddie.
We've even got animatronic plush. There's one called Ouchies from Moose Toys, and it's an animatronic dog that it hurts its leg, and you put a cast on the leg, and it heals. So it's really all about the nurturing play.
And he says it's not just Care Bears. Other old-fashioned toys are really making a comeback.
One of the things we've seen with the Gen Alpha kids especially is that they grew up with screens. You can't really impress a child with a screen. They've had one in their hands since they could hold it. But what we are seeing is a lot more dimensional play, whether Lego, things like magnetiles, kinetics, anything that is tactile. This has been a huge year for compounds and slime.
Today we're going to be mixing all our slimes. We have 32 slimes in total.
Toy influencers get younger and younger.
And your pocketbook is probably hurting already as you head into the holidays. So we're going to check your money next.
Major League Baseball's winter meetings begin Sunday in Orlando, and all eyes are on Hein Bloom. With expectations, he'll be busy.
I do think it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. Now, we don't have anything up our sleeves right now that's about to drop. I think you'll see things escalating as we get closer to the winter meetings.
KMOX will be reporting live from the winter meetings. Matt Pauley and Mike Claiborne will bring you exclusive reports with updates, access, and breaking news you won't hear anywhere else. Your home for St. Louis Cardinals coverage. KMOX.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Still ahead on Total Information AM this hour, the Dome downtown facing a financial crisis. The board that oversees it asking for a merger. I'm going to talk with one of the board members on that. Also, Sean Malone is going to tell us about Waymo. That's the driverless taxi service that's now driving into St. Louis. First, though, it's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's John Tucker.
Bad news was good news leading into today's trading session as a soft ADP jobs report boosted expectations for a Fed rate cut next week. Among stocks in the move this morning, shares of Salesforce were up. The software company's revenue outlook topped analyst estimates. Then on the flip side, shares of Snowflake, they took a dive lower. The company, which makes software that helps organize, analyze, and store corporate data in the cloud, delivered an outlook for operating margins that fell short of analyst estimates. Alphabet investors are growing increasingly confident that the company's semiconductors could represent a significant driver of future revenue for Google's parent. The success of Alphabet's tensor processing unit, or TPU chips, is a primary reason for the stock's 31% fourth quarter rally. Selling the chips to third parties could create a revenue stream worth almost $1 trillion. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Missouri, it's finally here. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live. DraftKings is giving all customers a can't-miss offer for this Sunday's Kansas City game versus Houston. Double your money if Kansas City gains just 1 yard. That's right. If Kansas City moves the ball even 1 yard, you double your money up to $100. With DraftKings Sportsbook, you're in the action. Fast, safe, secure, and all from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THELOU. All customers can opt in today and double their money if Kansas City gains just 1 yard in Sunday's matchup. That's code THELOU in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. One single use odds boost per customer. Market boosted to plus 100 odds. Max bet $50. Expires at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, December 7th. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Let Banner Construction show you what a difference James Hardy can make to your home. Banner's exterior design team will show you custom design options to transform your home into the neighborhood showplace. Banner is a preferred James Hardy and Pella Windows specialist. With winter, now is the time to think about Pella Windows for energy efficiency and comfort. Call Banner Construction 314-569-1050 to schedule your free in-home consultation, or the website bannerconstruction.com, and have a banner day.
This is Kyle Bush with Crinch Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Life changes, divorce, loss of a loved one, or an inheritance. It can be overwhelming. We provide the resources, long-standing support, and thoughtful guidance you need to plan ahead. With our help and experience, you don't have to navigate these transitions alone. You can move forward with greater clarity and confidence. Your goals, our mission, start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
This is 104.1 FM, KMOX. Here's what's happening. President Donald Trump has announced a proposal to significantly reduce fuel economy requirements for car makers through the 2031 model year. Venmo says that an issue impacting the payment service has been fixed and it's back up and running after users reported trouble sending and receiving money. And Americans gave $4 billion to nonprofits on Giving Tuesday this year. That's an increase from the $3.6 billion they gave in 2024. Another check of the roads now. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I mentioned we had trouble downtown, Megan, and I'm looking at it right now. This traffic reports the service of S&L Coins, a crash eastbound, it's really westbound 44, but it's eastbound 70 just as you get past the Musial Veterans Bridge, so that's where it turns into westbound 44. Before the convention exit, the through lanes are blocked. It looks like maybe the convention exit lane's getting by, so one lane sneaking through. The jam goes back to about St. Louis Avenue. If you're in a hurry coming in on eastbound 70, jump in the express lanes. You can get right by that crash without any concerns at all. Other than that, northbound 270 still busy. Doherty Ferry up to Ladue, eastbound 64 east of Lindbergh into Big Bend's heavy, south 170 bogs down at Brentwood, and westbound 64 the Science Center out through McCausland is kind of slow. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
S&L Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call S&L. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. S&L Coin.
If you're not already outside, you need to bundle up this morning. We've got a high only 25 degrees today. Partly cloudy, bitterly cold tonight. An overnight low of 13. More sun than clouds tomorrow, but it's still going to be fairly cold, not quite as cold as today. However, expect a high around 40 for Saturday. Cold with intervals of clouds and sun, a high of 36. And by Sunday, we could see some snow or flurries, a high of 36. Right now, cloudy skies, 18 degrees in downtown St. Louis. You're listening to Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. In the face of a multi-million-dollar shortfall in funding for the Dome at America's Center, The group that oversees the dome wants to combine with the agency in charge of the convention center. That's Explore St. Louis. Any merger would require state legislation. I spoke with the Reverend Earl Nance Jr., chair of the Regional Convention and Sports Complex Authority.
The RSA board that owns the dome passed a resolution to combine forces with Explore St. Louis, the convention center entity, in order to keep the dome open and viable for the public. The dome is very busy. It's been very busy since the Rams left, and we still need the dome to hold major conventions and attract major sporting events and concerts. And we have a full schedule ongoing, and we need $150 million in order to renovate the dome and keep it working safely, so we can buy the efforts in order to make that happen.
Explain for our listeners what the challenge is in completing those renovations. What's happened over the last few years?
Well, as you know, we got the Rams money and over $700 million. Most a third of that went to the attorneys, another third went to the city, another third went to the county, and we only received $77 million of that, even though we were the ones that filed and won the lawsuit. So now we need $150 million in order to keep the dome viable, renovated, and safe for the public to use, because it's very busy. It's a very busy entity that is very important for the region of the St. Louis metropolitan area. And so we're looking to combine forces with the Explore St. Louis entity in order to keep the dome viable. The resolution passed unanimously. Explore St. Louis takes it up, and then it'll be up to the legislative body to approve it, and we'll go from there.
What's Explore St. Louis saying about this proposed merger?
Explore St. Louis seems their committee passed to look at it and to put it before the whole their whole board, and so they'll take it up and we'll see what they do.
What would all this mean for taxpayers?
Well, right now, nothing. We at this point, we're not going to the taxpayers for any extra money, even though we need it. At some future point, that may be the decision of the combined forces and the legislative body.
As we've all heard, Explore St. Louis, for example, has had to cut back on improvements at America's Center. What gives you confidence that there will be enough revenue to complete the necessary renovations to the dome itself?
Well, hopefully Explore St. Louis can solve this situation, and we can solve ours. And that's why we're combining forces, so we can meet that challenge and go to the state legislature and possibly to the general public in order to keep everything moving and keep it viable.
Talk about the hotel tax fund and what's needed there to make this work.
Well, that's still ongoing. We only get so much money from that. Hopefully, we'll continue to get that and get other monies that are due to us that we can keep things running.
What happens if this doesn't work?
Well, say goodbye to the dome if it doesn't work. Turn out the lights, the party's over. And we'll be missing out on major conventions and major tax revenue for the city. We have major concerts coming in, AC/DC and another country artist that's going to sell out. That's major tax revenue. We have major conventions coming in. That's major tax revenue, and other Monster Jam and other activities coming in from different areas across the country, and that's major tax revenue that will be lost for the city if that happens.
What's the timeline, if Explore St. Louis buys into this? What's the timeline when it comes to the changes that would be necessary under Missouri law to make this work?
Well, that remains to be seen. We're hoping things happen quickly and efficiently so we can work out a plan in order to get the money we need.
Do you have any local lawmakers in Jefferson City that will be working with you on that?
We have a lobbyist, and we have one legislator that's looking to file the bill. I can't call his name right now because it has changed, but we'll be looking to him and others to lead the support for the merger.
Reverend, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking time to talk with me.
Thank you for talking to me. Appreciate it.
That's the Reverend Earl Nance Jr., chair of the Regional Convention and Sports Complex Authority, the entity that runs the Dome downtown. Explore St. Louis is expected to discuss that merger proposal today. Coming up, Waymo, the driverless taxi service, will soon be cruising the streets of St. Louis. Sean Malone will tell us more next. I'm Megan Lynch. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Who is buying a home during the holidays? Well, if you have to sell your home, you need to sell it. It doesn't matter the time of year. What you need is the right agent. Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty is the realtor who will sell your home, because the agent you choose matters. With Gloria Liu, you get real results. Your home sold, or she'll buy it herself. Gloria Liu makes buying and selling so simple. She has more than 24,000 buyers in waiting, so your home may already be sold. Her team sells for top dollar, which means more money in your pocket. In fact, Gloria will guarantee in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it herself. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Just give her a call and ask for all the details, or tell her your situation. 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or you can find her online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. That's gloriahasthebuyers.com. Start packing today.
Bernie Miklas here for Saliga Heating and Cooling. Our family's called the Saliga family for 18 years, and we are grateful for Saliga's honesty, knowledge, and professionalism. They're the best. For more info, visit SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the holiday food drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign, or to make an online donation, head to KMOX.com/events.
Waymo, the driverless taxi service, has announced they're expanding their operations into St. Louis. After over a year, how do Los Angeles residents feel about taking and sharing the roads with driverless cars? Our Sean Malone spoke with Brian Belansky with our Los Angeles affiliate KNX to discuss the growing business model.
I think the initial reaction was pretty mixed. I mean, the idea of being on the streets with cars that don't have humans holding onto the steering wheel is scary to a lot of people. These cars are pretty obvious when you see them on the roads. They've got these big, almost look like a rooftop carrier, like a ski rack with a dish on top that spins around so that it looks at that's called LiDAR. That's the system of radar they use to determine whether you're going to run someone over. And so they're really obvious to see them. But in the time since that, we really haven't had very many on-the-road problems, or anything big anyway. So I think people have kind of learned how to that they're there. And maybe you're a little more cautious when you're around them, but I have not found any reason to do that.
Do you see any issues when there's unique road conditions where the Waymos just don't know what to do? There's the video that went viral out of Los Angeles, actually, where a Waymo drove right past police officers trying to arrest someone and get them out of the vehicle at gunpoint.
Yeah, that the problems like that, I think, are, when you run into a certain circumstance like that, which is so unusual, I think that might be something that the computers just haven't been trained on because they haven't approached that kind of a situation. But most even regular traffic problems, like, maybe a little road crew here doing work or a pothole crew, they seem to be able to manage that pretty much okay. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know that regular Los Angelinos wouldn't just drive past the scene with police officers and guns drawn. I think they'd just try to get about their day. So,
have heard there are some issues with these Waymos when they're parked, and in particular for some of the neighbors around where they're parked and charging.
The biggest controversy to date is that there's a charging facility. Essentially, Waymo bought a parking lot in Santa Monica and installed all of their chargers, and it's kind of like a hub where the Waymos go back when they're not being used or when they need to be charged. And when the cars are in that parking lot being charged, they're loud, and they have flashing lights, so they make clicking noises and a bunch of other stuff. And the neighbors are not at all happy with that situation, because these cars a lot of times are charging in the middle of the night, because that's when they're least, the least needed by the people who want to take a Waymo. And so that's a big thing that they're trying to deal with. The city gave them a permit to operate there, and Waymo's like, you've already given us permission to do this. We're not going to change. We really can't change, don't want to change. And then the city's like, well, no, now we're going to change your permit that you can't operate during certain hours. And Waymo's pushing back pretty strongly on that. So that's the biggest really controversy that we've come up with since they started doing their thing here, I guess probably about a year and a half ago or so.
Have skeptics turned into believers in Los Angeles? Have you seen people who have initially had the mindset of no way, I could never trust something like this, start to warm up and come around to it?
I think there's three types of people. There's the skeptics who will never be real happy about this type of situation. There's the people who may have been skeptic and then now have kind of used it a couple of times and really like it. And then there's acceptance. I see them on the roads almost every day back and forth to work, and I see them there. I've never had a problem with them, so I've kind of accepted them as part of the road, what we see on our roads in Los Angeles. I will tell you, though, there is one segment of the population that is really high on the Waymos, and those are female customers. We hear time and time again that females aren't always comfortable getting into a rideshare with a male driver who they don't know. And because there's no driver in a Waymo, that lends to the comfort level for female passengers. And so that is one thing that we do hear, that a lot of women enjoy the Waymos because they don't have to worry about creepy guys behind the wheel.
Anything else I didn't ask you about that you think would be good for a city such as St. Louis that Waymo is coming to?
I will say I'm interested. We have not seen any real data, and it might be out there, but it's not been shared really widely on, they always have the data on, accidents per 1,000 people or whatever the case, or per 1,000 miles of driving for human-driven cars. I want to start seeing the data on the Waymos and how many incidents they've run into, no pun intended, over the course of 100,000 miles, and compare the two. And I'm curious to think that maybe a Waymo that doesn't have, a driver who's checking their phone or looking at their Facebook or answering a message from, their family on what are you bringing home for dinner. Waymos there is no distracted driving with a Waymo. So I'm almost wondering if they're in the long run might even be safer than a human driven car. I don't know, but I suspect that may be where the world could be going with this.
That is Brian Belansky with Odyssey's KNX Radio talking with our Sean Malone.
Changes could be coming to the Dome at America's Center. We'll talk about what that might mean for downtown St. Louis. Our weekly visit with Major Garrett coming up as well, and a conversation with Matt Pauley. We'll talk the winter meetings, which start on Sunday. All that and more on the Chris and Amy Show. John Hancock in today. We're next on KMOX.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Consumer Cellular.
Are steroid drugs safe? Safety depends on dose and duration. For occasional use of a bug bite or a bout of bronchitis, there seems to be little risk. But high-potency doses, such as inhaled steroids to treat asthma for more than 2 weeks, can lead to serious side effects, including impacting bone quality and risk of breaks. Doctors with Hospital for Special Surgery in New York suggest asking your doctor about non-steroidal alternatives. I'm Margie Schaefer.
I'm Ed Evans.